everybody, and welcome back to Crime in Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on the beginning of a journey. We're going to take a trip down I-5 here, down the I-5 here for a few weeks with the I-5 killer, who is Randall Woodfield. We'll get into that. Now, we have done an episode, I think it's episode, I want to say 53, 54, around there.
Sure.
Right during our first year of Crime in Sports, and we were kind of keeping we didn't even think to do multi-parters back then, and we were trying to keep it tight and short, so we went with the extremely just abridged version of the Randall Woodfield story, and it always bothered me, and I wanted to do a bonus about it, but then there's just too much to do. It would have to be.
Don't let it bother you so long.
It's so much. It did. It bothered me for a long time. If I put something out there and it's not all it could be, it bothers us. So anyway, so now we decided let's really lock in and
revisit.
Do a real deep dive on Woodfield, because I mean he's one of the most horrible serial killers we've ever produced as a country. He's a terrible, awful, disgusting person. And the fucked up part is there's no reason for it either. That's what's messed up.
No.
All these killers, you go, oh, well, there when he was 5, that kind of could make this.
Find the catalyst, sure.
Nothing. Just a dick. Just a complete, a egotistical jackass. So we'll get into all of that, and we're going to have a good time with this series. Well, as good a time as you can have with terrible, fucking dense rapes and murders that are going to happen here. But quickly, before we get to all that, head over, first of all, to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get all your merchandise. There's everything you can think of on there, except for hats, I think. We still can't get hats on Threadless for some reason.
That seems right.
We'd like, I think there's beanies, but nobody really wants that in July, I don't think. Do we have anybody like the North Pole that listens? If so, we have beanies. Otherwise, maybe wait a few months on those. So check that out. Get tickets for live shows for Small Town Murder as well. Those are coming back in the fall. A lot of them are sold out, but if you want to go to like Philly, D.C., Seattle, Irvine Improv, I think there's some tickets left for those. So get in there, shutupandgivememurder.com. Then get yourself some Patreon.
Oh.
Patreon's where it's at, everybody. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all the bonus materials. Anybody $5 a month or above, you are going to get hundreds and hundreds of bonus episodes immediately upon subscription to binge on, and then new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder, and this week is no different. You're going to get this week for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about an NFL player named Jeff Alm, who just had a crazy story. I don't even know how to describe it. He had a crazy story and a crazy ending. He's just a firework, this guy. And, it burns bright and then it's just gone 2 seconds later. And that's kind of what this guy is. It's a fun story. It's kind of messed up, but it's a crazy story. Now, for Small Town Murder, we're going to delve deep into people who marry prisoners.
Okay.
We're going to talk about some serial killers and people that they married, and then we're going to talk about just regular people who marry like murderers in jail and why they do it, and hear from them, not like on an interview, but we're not going to talk to them, but other people have talked to them, and then we'll tell you about it. So that's how we do it. It's going to be really fun, because then we'll do the prisoner dating game in a few weeks. So
terrific.
We'll figure out, first of all, what the hell is going on here. So that's patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of that, and you get a shout out at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy will go ahead and fuck your name up royally, but you'll enjoy it. That's the thing. You're going to like it. It's one of those. You'll like it.
Sure.
There you go. So that said, let's get into this. Oh, quickly before we get into this, just want to clarify something on the ad-free front here.
Oh, right.
We're working on an ad-free option. We've had some people complain over the last few weeks because there's ads. We just switched networks. And we had a couple people actually, and this is amazing. We actually had a couple people said, "Hey, you guys sold out. Now there's ads." No, what we did was actually take less money, so you don't have to pay some third party for your ads, for your ad-free shit. That's what we did. We actually did the opposite of that. This would be like a band that normally plays a big venue, and now they're playing in a bar to get an intimate setting, and you're like, "Fucking sellouts!" And they're like, "I'm making nothing here tonight. What are you talking about?" No, we obviously are making money on ads and things like that, but we went to a smaller network that we like better, that treats us nicer. So you should be happy for that. And you should be happy that in the end, you're going to get something better. Trust us.
Yeah.
We're working on the ad free. It just happened. So hit that little 30-second skip button a few times for a couple of weeks. That's all it is.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and it's really made our lives really annoying for the last few weeks to hear people complain about it for no reason. It's just silly. So it's coming. We're figuring it out, guys. We give a shit about you. That's why we're doing this. That's the point.
Yeah.
We're trying our best.
What do you want?
We're doing what we can
down.
here. Yeah. We're doing what we can. We just want to give you
doing our best.
We just want to give you great content and great episodes.
We're trying to make the best shows we can, and it's not easy.
It's really hard,
and some people make it harder.
And we do deserve to make a fucking living off of this,
Certainly.
too. This is not a charity thing that we're doing here. We're not, this is the amount of hours worked on these shows is insane. There's no... It's so much. So we really want to give you the best quality, and we're willing to do anything for that. And all we ask in return is just give us a couple weeks on the ad-free option before you freak out on us. That's all.
Calm down.
Chill out a little bit. That's it.
That's it.
We appreciate your rapid.
It's so nice.
We appreciate the fact that you're like, the story's interrupted with these ads, and I want to hear the story. Totally understandable, and we get that. But we're working on something for you. And if not, like I said, it's an easy fix. It's just 30 seconds. Bing, bing, bing.
Fucking relax.
It's fine. So that said, let's get into Randall here.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our. Yeah. It's mainly a plea. Just give us a minute. That's all. That's our plea. Just give us a second here.
Solid plea. Calm the fuck down.
Calm the fuck down. Let's talk about Randall Brent Woodfield here.
Brent.
Oh,
Brent. Yeah.
Brent, which is a very 70s guy with a mustache name.
Yeah,
it fits him so.
Name.
Yeah, he should have went with Brent. It would have fit him perfect, but he went with his parents went with Randall. So Randall is born December 26th, 1950. His mom went into labor Christmas morning, but he didn't come out till just after midnight. They thought they had a Christmas baby, and then no.
I mean, you certainly got something.
Yeah, her pussy said, "Hell no, we're keeping this bad boy in for another couple hours."
Does not deserve to share the birthday.
No, I will not dilate for this asshole, is what it said. Not happening. Yeah. So he is born then December 26, 1950, and he is absolutely a disaster, as we'll talk about here. He's born in Oregon, in Salem he's born. His parents are Jack Woodfield. Jack is not his real name. His real name is Walter, but he goes by Jack. In the
I suppose
40s and 50s, they could turn any name into Jack, somehow. Yeah, John was Jack. Walter's everything's Jack. I don't get how that works, but okay.
It's the same amount of syllables and letters to be John. What's the fucking problem?
How is John Jack? How does that work?
I don't know.
It's not short for it. It's so weird. It's the strangest thing. When I was a kid, it confused the shit out of me because people would talk about the Kennedys and they go, Jack Kennedy. I'm like, do they mean Jackie? His wife?
She was the Jackie O.
Me. Yes, it confused the shit out of me. So they'd be like Jack and Jackie, and I'm like, his name is John. What's going on? Did he have a brother that fucked her too? What are we talking about?
My poor cousin deals with it. I think he likes Jack better than John. I think...
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he does because everybody calls him Jack.
Well, Jack has always been a cooler name.
It's
Jack and Jack Nicholson. You know what I mean? Like back then, Jack was just a cooler name. John is very plain, and it's like the most standard name. John Doe.
Yeah, I think Nicholson's the only cool one. Is there another?
I don't think you need another.
He's the coolest.
He was pretty fucking cool. That's what I mean. Yeah. I don't know if you need another one.
I guess Jack Tatum was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, there's some Jacks out there.
It's just a tough name. That's what it is.
It sounds like a guy. Yeah. John is John Doe. It's the most the most common name.
Yeah.
John Q. Public. It's
John Smith. It's it's just the most plain, boring, squared up name. Jack is a tough guy that it says Jack on his fucking garage shirt. Yeah.
Jack wears a leather jacket. Back in the day, and works on some rings on his car. It's chilly in there, though. It's November. What are we talking about?
Jack wears a lot of Carhartt.
Absolutely. Jack wears Old Spice. Thick. Yeah. You smell Jack coming from the next room, and you go, hey, I think Jack's on his way.
Is that Jack?
That sexy motherfucker Jack over there.
Uses aftershave.
His high karate. Yeah. Uses the after. It's just all on his neck. That's it. His mother's name is Donna Jean Woodfield, and he'll have two older sisters as well. He's the youngest and the only boy of the family.
Oh.
So he's got two older sisters.
Yeah.
Doted on. Yeah, his sisters, Susan and Nancy, basically treated him like a doll.
Yeah.
When, they're a few years older than him. And his sisters will be a great source of his rage throughout the years.
Really?
And it makes no sense. They didn't abuse him. They didn't beat him up. They didn't tie him down and do ritualistic sexual things to him or anything like that. No, they didn't do anything to him. They were nice to him, but because they were older, they were allowed to do more things, because they're 5 years older.
Yeah.
And that enraged him that
Really?
his sisters were allowed to do shit he wasn't allowed to do. Enraged him. Didn't understand they're older than you. He said, I'm a boy. I should be able to do what they do. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was he literally would scream at his parents, I'm a boy. I should be able to do this stuff. They're like, you're 7. You're not going out to the drive-in with your girlfriends.
When you're a man, you can do those things, but you're still a boy.
Yeah, so Susan and Nancy are his older sisters, and they were waiting for his parents. He comes from a very good, stable, upper-middle-class family. His dad worked for the phone company, as we'll talk about, and worked his way up and made good money. And, utilities company, you can make a real comfortable, good living where you take your family on vacations and do all that 50s, 60s
do the
shit.
American shit. Yep.
Yeah, and that was a good thing. It's like an American dream. His dad was in World War II, came home, did that. His mom's a college graduate. So they're very much an upper middle class family that knows how to do things correctly and wants their kids to be very much 50s sitcom. That's what they want. Kids are dressed to the nines when they leave the house.
Ozzie and Harriet.
Yeah, everything. Father knows best type shit. That's what they're looking for. So he's not. That's what makes this weird. Every other serial killer and not every other, I'm sure, but a lot of the famous ones, when you break them down, we've done on Patreon for Small Town Murder, which you can have access to if you subscribe to our Patreon. We've done serial killer childhoods, a bunch of them.
Right.
We've done Dahmer, Richard Ramirez, BTK, Bundy. We've done a bunch of these people's childhoods. And there's always something. There's always something weird that you can go, okay, that could be an acorn that a mighty shit oak, a mighty shit oak can grow from. You know what I'm saying? But with Randall, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. His family dotes on him. He's the boy, the only boy, and he's the youngest. So, I mean,
by all accounts, that should create just a fucking sweetheart of a man.
At least a man also who understands women, knows how to talk to them.
Has some sympathy for them.
Has empathy, knows how they think, has heard them talk.
That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, that you would think. But instead, he's the opposite. Makes him hate women. But he likes women, too, a lot.
Them.
He's very horny.
Loathes the person and personality, loves the pussy.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's socially, he's just weird. He's he's very much like a kid who was, the best way I can put it, seems like a kid who was popular in the 7th grade and never progressed personality-wise beyond the 7th grade because that's what worked for him once, so he just did that on repeat.
Just hang on to that.
But once you get to be an adult,
Yeah.
You need different skills with women. You can't just walk up to them and like fart on them and be like, "What's up, baby? You want to go to the dance?" And they're like, "Hey, okay, you're a football player. Okay." Like, it doesn't really work like that when you're an adult. You have to have a little more sophistication that he doesn't really seem to possess, which is a little bit fucking weird here. So, I mean, both the sisters, by the way, are going to grow up, go to college, marry, guys who make 6 figures and all that kind of shit too. So makes no sense here. This really doesn't make any sense. And we've never heard he wasn't diddled when he was a kid. He wasn't beaten.
He was just a doll. He was an accessory. That's no fun.
Yeah, he wasn't like chained up outside with the dog or anything. Like, I guess I guess maybe his sisters would. I don't know. I don't know what his deal was though. It doesn't make any sense. So the Woodfields though, they wanted to have a boy first, and they had 2 girls, and then they finally had Randall. So they were jacked here. I mean, just fucking jacked. So Dad worked, like I said, for a Pacific Northwest Bell. That's where he worked. Got a job there when he was 21, right after World War II, and he'll work there for over 30 years and work his way up the ladder and eventually have a pretty pretty lofty position in that organization. So Susan and Nancy, they came out pretty quick, and then a few years later, we end up with Randall. So basically, Mom made a big deal out of what to name him. Yeah. Big deal. She said it's it doesn't matter what you can call a girl anything. Doesn't matter. It's all about her tits anyway. She's basically saying. But she's like, a boy though has to have a certain kind of name, which is a little weird. She said the wrong name could make all the difference. Which it really,
the wrong name could damn this child.
I mean, it could get him picked on a little bit in school, but probably get him to figure out how to have the tools to probably maybe turn him into like a comedian or a boxer maybe. I don't know, something.
It can certainly have an effect,
but not in anything. So they said they wanted something different, something new, something hot. And she chose Randy. That's what she wanted to call him. So Randall.
Randy. I want it interchangeable. Unisex is what I want.
Yeah. So she wanted to call him Randy, though. Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, by the way, he fucking hates the name Randy. He hates the name. So for the rest of the episodes that we do this, we're only going to call him Randy because he hates it. He despises being called Randy. Doesn't like it. Thinks it's a stupid name. Thinks it's a kid name. Doesn't like it. Randall, he wants to be called.
Randy is, it's the most mullet name that there is.
Right? It is.
Is there a worse one?
It's
Randy
Macho Man Savage. Randy. Yeah, Randy is a very... Well, it's also a fucking a euphemism for horny also, which makes it weird also. You named your, you know what I mean? Anytime you name a kid something that can be just put in
this is my son horny.
Yeah. Would you name your kid would you name your kid Blue Balls? Yeah. No. Probably not. So, oh man. So he gets Randall. She calls him Randy. He hates it.
Yeah.
Essentially here. He is always, by the way, thick head of black hair that he always has. He always has a big mop of hair on him.
Nice. God dang, it's
nice.
He's
got great hair. Big, it's a curly.
So good.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, he says it's naturally curly, but he gets perms. He's a liar. He lies so much, this guy. He's just this huge liar.
He gets perms?
Oh, he gets perms. It's the 70s, so he wanted to have that big puff. You know what I mean? Later on, he gets fucking perms, man. So he can have that big 70s fucking rock star puff.
Is he sitting in that chair with the
curlers in? Yeah, absolutely. Hair with the hair dryer over his head. Yeah.
Reading the USA Today.
My grandmother had one of those in her house.
Talking about his slutty neighbor.
She had one of those chair hair dryers.
In her house?
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was a barber. So I guess he just ordered her one, and she'd be doing shit, and then she'd be sitting under that, and I'm like, why are you doing this in the house? I remember being so confused as a kid. She's like doing a home perm. So he always has this black hair. He's all of that sort of deal. A woman who babysat for Randy said he was really a mild baby. Didn't cry, didn't do anything. She said, quote, he was very quiet. I remember that I worried sometimes because he was almost too good, too quiet. Like worried that he wasn't healthy or something. Is that kid breathing? You expect to hear some bitching out of a kid once in a while, but
as he's older, he's a very handsome man too.
Oh no, that's the thing. That's
great
the other
looking
thing.
Guy.
That's the other thing that's so strange about this. That's the other fucking thing that's so strange is he's a good-looking. Women love him.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't have to.
He always has like 3 girlfriends. He's calling this girl, sending this one nude pictures of himself, doing all this shit.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. He's wild.
Make sure you say that louder because it wasn't from
big.
A phone.
No, he was sending fucking hard copy dick pics with a letter and a hand addressed envelope and everything, which is crazy. We have a listener, and we'll get more into it. We have a listener who's messaged us, and I guess one of her cousin
his
maybe
sister.
Or her sister.
His sister. I think it's his.
No. It's somebody's. Their sister had something to do with Randall.
Right.
One of the women that he met and befriended and tried to keep contact with and would send them letters with weird pictures. And they just sent us a picture of him. Like,
you got it?
Like, it's like him like flexing
Yeah.
He's in like shorts. He's not nude, but he's like oiled up and like flexing like I'm sexy.
Yeah.
He's like a low grade ravishing Rick Rude kind of, if you could say. That's the best way to describe him.
Yeah. Like, because this was a long time ago that he was doing this. So
the 70s.
Go to a photo mat and be like, print these, please.
He had to go to a person in a little booth and say, I'll be back in an hour for my dick pics.
Enjoy my dick.
And then he got a kick out of that because he loves exposing himself too.
Yeah, right. But right.
The amount of women who throw themselves at him and are more than happy to be in his presence, because he's as we'll talk about, he's a professional for a minute, a professional football player, a wide receiver. So he's very good shape and very athletic, and design, had the 70s mustache and big curly hair. I mean, he had it all in the 70s.
Great neck, great fucking, just everything about him. Like from like a mug shot of him is like, oh, look at this handsome bitch.
Oh, if he got arrested for all this now,
forget
he would be the hottest thing on the internet. Every woman would want to fuck him. I can fix him, and it would be just like he would be the guy.
Cuppeth?
Oh.
His cup would runneth over.
His cuppeth would run. His cuppeth.
He would have plenty of commissary, that's for sure.
For fuck sure, yeah. So when he was a baby, he's always athletic. Like his parents noticed he was athletic from the time he could crawl. He was he crawled fast too. He walked faster than the other kids. He had balance. He could do things that other kids wouldn't. He was just naturally athletic. He was gifted in that way. And his dad was thrilled about that. He's like, I've had 2 girls. Now I'm going to have a boy that's going to play a sport.
Jacked about it.
Now I can live through somebody, damn it. Yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
So mom breastfed too. So there's another thing too. Like I'm only including that to say, because some people, there was a theory about breastfeeding or not breastfeeding.
Whether it balances the brain. Yeah.
Mom even breastfed, like everything this kid could have.
Every opportunity. Yeah.
He had. Like it's crazy. Like his sisters all over him and everything. So the family stayed in Salem for about a year after he was born, and then moved to Corvallis for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then Jack transferred to Otter Rock, Oregon, which I believe is like about 50 miles away from Corvallis. Very small town. And that's where the family's going to live. And
is that beach community?
I don't think it's a beach community, but it's on the western part of western part of Oregon.
Nice.
So this is basically an idyllic Oregon small town.
Yeah.
So he grows up in a great place. It's a very supportive community.
Yeah.
Nice teachers, good schools, doting parents, family structure, breast milk on the tongue.
At a time the Goonies, it was just before that. So like that's what this is. This area
the 50s,
is like
when it was good still,
wide open.
When people could afford these houses that they lived in, because they, the factory didn't shut down or whatever the fuck.
Right, kids can have a kick-ass childhood.
Yeah, and that's what it was for him too.
Yeah,
that's what's crazy. And then they love their family. Their kids. They said the girls, a pleasure. Randy's the all-American boy. Dad was showing him how to play sports, and Mom said she wanted to make sure that he had social graces. That's what she said. Yeah, social graces. She said, and have manners and be a popular boy. That's what she wanted for him.
Yeah.
And because she said he's so handsome and he's so smart.
Sure enough, yeah.
So I mean, he needs to just be molded.
And around that many girls, he's aware of how to treat women. Like he all
should,
intents and purposes, this guy should be
the world
unbelievable.
Should be his oyster. He should be able to do anything he wants. Yeah. He's got parents that would pay for his college. It's every advantage you can have here.
Yeah.
So his father became a manager at Pacific Northwest Bell, making more money. Mom staying home, being a homemaker. Yeah. Very well-respected family in the community. Everybody, look at those Woodfield kids. All the kids are always dressed perfect, and the lawn's cut. They're perfect. Very 50s type of shit here. Now, by the way, his sisters are very smart in school. Mm-hmm. One sister becomes a doctor, the other's a lawyer. So, yeah, that's definitely a shadow, I would say, to overcome.
Yeah, it's stereotypical doctors and lawyers. They're going to be fine.
They're going to be all right. But for him, it's athletics is what he shines in.
Okay.
And schoolwork is kind of not really his thing, because he gets the most credit for athletics. So why bother with this shit over here? You know, I'm not going to get, no one's going to carry me around on their shoulders because I got a fucking B+ on the math test. It's not going to work.
Right.
So he didn't like, basically, it's Randy and 3 women in the house. Dad works long hours, doesn't get home till late. So it's very much Randy and the girls.
Sure.
Now, I understand that. I grew up around a lot of women, but you should take that and learn about women and figure out, what they like and what they want and how to, just general. Yeah. That should help you later on. But he was just like, I hate these girls. That was his whole thing. Hated them. So he began to really resent his sisters being able to do things he wasn't allowed to do.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like I said, if you're 10 and your sister's 16, you can't be mad because she's allowed to drive. You're 10.
Yeah.
But he was.
He was mad about it.
Yeah. He said, wow. And then when they'd say, it's nothing personal, Randy, they're just allowed to do shit, Randy. They're just allowed to do shit because they're older. That would really enrage him for some reason. That would normally placate the kid, and he'd be like, okay, well, yeah, I can't help that. It's not a personal matter. But he was like, that would enrage him. Hated it.
Okay.
He concluded here, apparently, and said this later on, that girls got to do whatever they want and got to have fun, and that girls are free. They get to do anything, and I have to stay home. Oh. That's what he got.
Is this the moment? Is this the moment that does it?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the turning point. But if this is what did it,
he's fucked.
Dude, how sensitive are you, bro? This is crazy.
Boy. Yeah.
There's
wait
people.
Till you find out what the CEO gets to do.
No, yeah. There's boys
he's golfing
who get
while you're working.
There's boys who get beaten and molested by their mothers and aunts and all that. They don't grow up and kill a bunch of women. This is crazy. So, also, he hated that he had to have a babysitter. That pissed him off. He wanted to be alone, damn it. My sisters are allowed to do things alone. Yes, because they're 16 and you're 9. So, yeah, that makes sense. But he wanted to be alone. He would, when the couple times they tried to leave him alone with his sisters, he would be jealous and they'd fight. They'd have a big fight. And he felt that he was the one who got blamed for everything.
Right.
He got blamed for the fights, and he thought they weren't his fault.
Okay.
And he got really mad, and he said, my sisters, they tease me, they tattle on me, and then I get punished because I, punched one of them in the face.
Yeah, but
that's just siblings.
Yep.
I had an aunt who, by the way, is lovely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? She's about 8.5 years older than me.
Yeah.
Lovely, nicest person who's ever existed, but she's almost 9 years older than me, and she's my aunt. We grew up in my grandmother's house, and she made me eat ants and shit when I was a kid. She picked on me, my cousin Jesse, unmercifully. Did horrible
eat
ants. Told us the red ones were strawberry.
Oh, boy.
I told this story before about the strawberry ants. So strawberry, the black ones are chocolate.
I'm so glad you read books and got smart.
I could have been a bad guy.
Going through life with you saying, look, Jimmy, brown cows, let's go get chocolate milk.
Very lucky.
The road would be a nightmare with you.
Thank fuck I read a couple of books, man. That could have been real bad. And also that the strange thing is Cool Whip really tastes like shaving cream, and I don't care for that either anymore.
Not a fan of that Gillette shit people put on top of that.
Because that was also a thing.
Shaving cream on top of their coffee.
That was also a thing. Very, very, fucked with me.
Just gullible. But kids were, you're allowed to be that, and it's fun, and it should be funny, but.
And I got over it. That's the thing.
Get hurt.
I didn't get mad and try to kill women when I was 23. It just didn't even a thing. I get along great with my aunt, and we've been tight for years. So it's just. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Mint Mobile.
Mintmobile.com?
Mintmobile.com, Jimmy. You got that. You know what you don't need this summer?
What is that?
Well, you need vacations. You need maybe go to the beach. You need to hang out and unwind. What you don't need this summer is giant wireless bills getting in the way. That's what you don't need. You're going to be planning all your trips, doing all this stuff. A giant wireless bill that you didn't expect shouldn't be holding you back on that. That's crazy. Your phone should be a tool to help you achieve the fun, not ruin it. So that's why we made the switch to Mint Mobile. With Mint Mobile, you can get the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. They're just overcharging you at these other companies. It's ridiculous. Mint Mobile, they have it right here. Tell you that. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile's offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for $15 a month. You can't beat that. So yeah, let your friends sweat all of this giant bills and data overages, and you can be laughing at them, laughing all the way to the bank where you have more money saved because you didn't have to spend a ton of money on your stupid wireless bill. It's great. Say goodbye to the overpriced plans, goodbye to these giant bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile will rescue you from the depths of all this wireless awfulness that you're used to. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Just like anything else, it's fantastic. Ditch your overpriced wireless and get 3 months of unlimited service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. We did this, and we think you should too, because I think you'll like it. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/crimeinsports. That's mintmobile.com/crimeinsports. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited new time customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Now back to the show.
I don't get it, man. So that's what he would do, though. He'd freak out, and his mother is the one who would kind of give out the discipline, too, because Dad's never home.
Yeah.
So this is not physically, by the way, wouldn't beat the boy or anything like that, but Randy would be humiliated because Mom would say that he disappointed her. Yeah. He is a sensitive little bitch, man.
No kidding.
He's just, I'm sorry, dude. This is crazy. He needed to grow up with a foreigner is what he needed.
Yeah. You'd think that all this estrogen would do one thing for you, but it's evidently doing the exact opposite. It's making him a little bitch.
It's making him a little bitch. Yeah. It's so strange. So he wanted to control his anger. He wanted to please his mother. Yeah. But he thought that Mom had unrealistic goals for him.
Yeah.
That's what he said. As an adult, though, he said his relationship with his mom was, quote, real good, and said, I'm closer to my mother than I am to my father. Uh-huh. So he's always basically, so it's a weird thing with women. Now, there's been psychiatrists and psychologists that have, tried to pick this guy apart and try to figure out what his deal is. And according to, by the way, the book is Anne Rule, the I-5 Killer. A lot of this comes from here. A lot of the psychologists said that basically he would misperceive women, which is so weird because you'd think he'd be able to know exactly what they're doing growing up that close to them.
He should be able to interpret everything the right way.
That's exactly. But they said basically he would overvalue these women and denigrate himself.
Okay.
Basically, these women are wonderful and I have to have them. And if they don't want me, then I'm a piece of shit and I spin out into a spiral and then I'm mad at them for not wanting me, even though it's me who, kind of that sort of thing. So his self-esteem for the rest of his life, his self-esteem is completely dependent on how women view him, basically. And his physical prowess, and he loves showing people his dick, as we'll talk about.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he thinks it's great. He's so
unbelievable.
I haven't heard of a porn star this proud of their penis before. Like, he's so proud of his cock and balls. It's amazing. He just wants to show everyone.
I've met porn stars before. The last thing they want to talk about is their body.
Right? Imagine just being like, take a look at my dick, even though you don't want to. Yeah. Look at it. Isn't it great? Hold on. I want you to see this one vein. Come here. No, seriously. You need to see this. Check it out. Like, that's so weird.
Rub across it. Feel how it stands up.
Right? It's a pretty.
It looks like
it's
you could
beefy.
collapse
This vein.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. So he was through his young years. He's good in school, made good grades, and is great in sports. He said him and his father, despite his father working a lot, they did have a lot of father-son activities. Most of them centered around sports, which is fine for Randy because he loves sports. It's something he's good at, and it gets him accolades. He's very much needy of say I'm good.
It's not just approval, it's actual praise.
Yeah, he say I'm smart, say I'm handsome, say my
this
dick
is the best dick you ever saw.
My dick veins are lovely.
Yeah.
Say I'm the best athlete around.
Yeah.
He needs to, like, his cup every day is empty and he needs it filled with praise. And then he empties it the next day and he needs more, which is interesting. I guess maybe all that doting, maybe that'll do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually that wouldn't make you a murderer, though.
No.
That would just make you kind of a needy fuck that should go to therapy, you know?
Or that has zero meaningful relationships ever.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he did well. He was growing more handsome by the year.
Yeah.
He would have temper tantrums at home sometimes, mainly over fights with his sisters, but they were all like, "Oh, he's just being a baby," you know, little brothers. You know how that is here. No sex talk in the Woodfield home, so he wasn't like sexualized early. Dad didn't have True Detective magazines lying around, or like, you know, some film strip of like a weird railroad track gang rape or something that he would hold up to the light. None of that shit was around, so none of that's there, I guess. He definitely, as he got older, though, hates Randy and would tell his mom to stop calling him Randy. She wanted to call him Randy and called him goddamn Randy. So now I guess. Oh, by the way, Otter Rock is on the Oregon coast. By the way, I just figured out. Yeah,
Beach
it is
community.
on. Yeah, it's north of Newport, apparently.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah. So basically, it's a beautiful town too.
Yeah.
Really pretty town with hills and by the water and trees. It's gorgeous.
Oregon Beach. It's amazing. Yeah.
Really nice, and it's very safe. The kids all ride their bikes and nobody bothers them, and everything's fine here. Corvallis is 54 miles away, and that's the closest town that's big, and that's not a big town.
Right.
Especially back then, it wasn't a big town. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, not bad at all. So it's a really nice. By the way, the I-5 freeway runs all through here, which is going to come into being a lot later. So he's very familiar with the I-5 freeway and all that kind of thing here. So the Woodfields are at this time considered pillars of the community.
Yeah.
Jack's getting better jobs. Once Randy turned 10, Mom took a job at a drugstore as a clerk just to get out of the house. She's bored. She raised 3 kids. Now she's bored.
Yeah.
So his mom is described as a pretty woman who always dressed with style and flair and looked several years younger than her actual age.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of vanity can rub off on someone, though. And that's how Randall sees himself, is like, one thing that, okay, the family definitely has in public, this is what we look like, this is what we act like, this is what we sound like.
Yeah.
So that can be a little bit weird to have to.
It's certainly, yeah. So sociological pressures, societal pressures.
It's especially
to
that
keep
weird
up appearances.
That weird 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Everybody's stiff in us. I mean, men mowed the lawn in dress pants. Like, it was a crazy fucking time. Yeah. Like, people
but those dress pants were crazy weird too.
They're wearing. You got like
slacks.
You got some big fucking, some big hard creased slacks going on.
Thick ass polyester. They were crazy pants
with two-tone dress shoes and a tie, and you're out mowing the lawn. It's the weirdest shit. So that's how it was back then. Like, you know,
weird.
Look at him out there, not in his dress slacks, mowing the lawn. What a bum! Like,
how did they do it?
It's a lot of pressure. I would have been miserable back then. Just so hot all the time. Just hot. I'm just hot, man. So that's what he's. So that's a pressure anyway, I would say. So he said he had a hard time meeting Mom's expectations.
Right.
He resented his sisters because they were in high school and he was in junior high, and they were allowed to go places and get driver's licenses, and he had to stay home and couldn't go out and do things. He thought that basically a boy should be paid attention to, but and be allowed to do what they want. Basically, the world should dote on him, but instead, everyone and all the females are running his life, which he thinks is bullshit. He doesn't like that very much. So his mother's a big time perfectionist, and Dad is really one of these guys who, you're going to be a star athlete, son. So there's some pressure there, but a lot of times those guys just end up marrying some chick they met when they were 18 and like work at a gas station or something.
Settling down and just having the life. Yeah.
Yeah. So he became known as the best athlete in the area very quickly, even in junior high. Great coordination, really fast. He's a star in track, baseball, basketball, and football.
Dang.
Yeah, it's just anything that has to do with speed and agility and anything. He's awesome.
Doing it all.
Just really good at it. And everyone is really proud of him. His dad has like multiple scrapbooks full of clippings and
holy shit, yeah.
They, so his parents, they came to his games, they rooted him on, they fucking clipped his shit, they put it in a thing. So it's not even like, my parents didn't even care. It's none of that. It's almost like they were too nice to him.
Yeah, there's a fine line, evidently, of being too good.
At some point, if they would have just said, listen, Randy, you little cunt, you need to stop being such a whiny little bitch, I feel like Randy would have turned out much better. Instead, they just tried to pump him up here. So he loved this, though. He likes the adulation and that sort of thing. And I guess once the adulation stops, then you start getting angry.
Sure.
But basically during junior high school is when weird shit starts to surface with Randy. He's the cleanest cut, most all-American boy until he's about 12. When your balls start stirring a bit, you know what I mean?
Being you. Yeah,
a couple of pubes pop out. Yeah. And your dick's a little harder than you want it to be, a little more often than you're looking for it to be. And this is when if weird shit's going to surface, this is when it's going to start to happen.
Randy is such a hillbilly name. It turned Randy Moss into a hillbilly.
Randy. It just makes me always think of Family Guy with Randy. Yeah. It just always makes me think of that. It's from Family Guy. Randy. Some guy who's named Randy who's mean to fucking Peter over the years. You go, Randy. Stop being mean to me.
Funny.
It's funny. That's all I think of the whole time.
It is Randy. A shitbag's name.
It is.
But when women get it, it's hot as shit.
Well, yeah. Whenever you give a woman a guy's name and put an I on it instead of a Y, it makes it kind of hot. Yeah,
Randy,
Charlie. Back in the 70s, a lot of women named Charlie. Yeah, it's kind of hot. Yeah, but Randy for a guy. Sounds like
it's a West Virginia accent every time.
It sounds like if you pulled into a gas station in the middle of nowhere because your car wasn't doing well. He's the guy that would pop out of the garage with a wad of chew, wiping down a big wrench, wiping the oil off it while he's still covered in oil. You know what I mean?
And
that would be
telling
Randy.
How fucked your car is and how it won't be ready for 2 months.
Yeah, and you look at his name tag and it says Randy on it. That's him. So his first, I guess, dalliances into sexual deviancy were exposing himself.
Yeah.
Which is how a lot of sexual deviants start, is by exposing themselves.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s, we didn't understand psychologically that leads to other things.
That's real. It's not funny.
No, now we get it. In the 70s, streaking was a big deal. It was a funny thing.
Because college kids did it. It was hilarious.
Guys are doing it, everybody would laugh.
Right.
But that's different, too. The
problem is the difference between the back and the front are vast. It's a canyon between the ass being funny and the dick being threatening.
And also, it's a difference if you're doing it in front of hundreds of people and you're running, you're like, yeah, and then they all laugh. Or if it's one chick on a street at night and you're in a bush. That's a lot different of
and
exposing
just
yourself.
showing her the dick.
Yeah.
You know the ass is out because you see the dick.
Yeah.
But it's not funny.
But we didn't get back then. We thought that was just, they're just being silly. But
cutting up, yeah.
We didn't understand that actually is the first step a lot of times in a progression that leads to rape and everything else. It's not good.
A lot of guys that do way worse started there.
Exactly. And I'm sure a lot of people did that never went on to do anything too. But a lot of the guys started with this, and you'll hear it with serial killers a lot too. So this apparently, they think it's when pressure became too great for him is when he started exposing himself, basically.
Okay.
He could basically demonstrate that in his mind, this is subconsciously getting back at his mother for making him be perfect and for having all this pressure to be perfect and all that kind of shit here.
Mom.
Deal with that, Mom.
She didn't even see your dick.
I just showed this lady my dick. What do you think of that now? So, and also he kind of likes the frightened reaction from women too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. He enjoys that. So he would get his dick hard first, by the way. He wouldn't just wave his limp dick at you.
Whoa.
See, he's got to keep a hard on to wait for somebody, though. Yeah. He's got to slow stroke a bit just to keep it at a good clip, so he's not.
You can't do it the other way. That doesn't frighten anybody.
No, but that's what most flashers do, though. They just have their
show a limp
dick hanging out
really?
there. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Oh, I think so. I don't
know.
This guy keeps an erect dick.
I'd assume that the thrill of somebody seeing it would be enough.
Chikatilo, we know it was limp, and he showed it to everybody.
But he had a problem. He couldn't get
that's the point.
Hard. Yeah,
that's what a lot of these guys do, though. That's a thing that happens with that. So I don't know, but this guy Randy, he has no problem getting a hard dick and showing it to you. He will show his dick because a lot of times that makes them angry.
Yeah,
Chikatilo's mad that he can't fuck women, so he takes it. So look at that.
That's
now
horrifying.
You're scared.
He's like, it is horrifying, isn't it? It horrifies me every day.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot of weird psychology wrapped up in that shit, and we're not doctors.
I've seen his. He had some meat too.
Chikatilo.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Randall Woodfield. I'm like, how'd you see his dick?
I've never seen that one.
I've done so much research, and I've not seen his dick. So how did you find out his dick? I was like, where'd that come from?
Chikatilo had some swang. He
was doing it in court. Right. That's why. He was masturbating at the judge while they was trying to fucking do things. He was a fucking nutcase. So yeah, he likes the fear, is what he does here. In his mind, he wasn't hurting anybody. So it's acceptable. It made him feel better in a weird way. And nobody's physically injured. It's not like he's smacking people in the face with it. He's not raping anybody. That's how he thought of it. Okay. But he also didn't want to be discovered and embarrassed because he knew that would be the ultimate sin in this household, would be to embarrass the family publicly, essentially here. So eventually, though, he was caught. You can't flash forever.
No.
You're not going to do that forever, and especially in a small town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're going to talk about this.
In the Newport area, he's well known. He's the star athlete of the area and all this type of shit. They know when his dick's out. So he really didn't get any real punishment for it, and wasn't referred. He didn't get told to go to therapy or anything like that. Go get counseling, go see a psychiatrist. Nothing. They were just kind of boys will be boys type of thing.
That's a fascinating approach.
That was a lot of what they would do back then. Is that boys will be boys? You know how they do. It's weird.
My brother and I threw oranges at a guy on a lawnmower behind our house, and we hit him a couple of times. And he chalked
boys
it up
will
to
be
boys
boys.
will be boys. But he told my parents, and I got in
That's
trouble.
fine.
But he did say the first one, I figured boys will be boys. The
barrage that came later. The strafing that came after that, I didn't appreciate.
He was pretty mad after that.
Didn't appreciate feeling like Cambodia here. It wasn't good.
And we were idiots. We chose the ammunition of the only house in the neighborhood with an orange tree.
Very smart. Very smart.
We're pelting this poor fuck while he's 110 and he's mowing a lawn.
We've done that with snowballs, me and my cousin Jesse.
Yeah, everybody's got snowballs.
We were like 8 and we popped up my grandmother's front porch. You could hide, duck down and be behind a whatever. So we threw snowballs at this car and then ducked down in the porch like they weren't going to stop. We're sitting there 2 seconds later, the guy's standing on the porch looking at us and we're like, oh shit. We're busted. But that's boys will be boys. Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
And you get yelled at and you don't escalate your behavior. You go, shit, don't do that again. That's it.
Never again.
I think my grandmother beat the shit out of us for that. Beat the fuck out of us for that with spoons and shit. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
So you can't be doing that shit. But but they just chalked it up kind of boys will be boys. The cops look the other way because he's a good student and a star athlete, and they don't want to ruin the kid's life. Basically, they don't want to fuck the kid's life up here. Sure. So he stayed in school and did all of his shit here. Later on, by the way, his parents will always deny that they were aware of any sexual problems he might have had.
Yeah, because you don't talk to your parents about that.
No, which which maybe they didn't know about it. Maybe the cops didn't tell them. Maybe they just swept it under the rug or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like they would have noticed something here going on if they were paying attention. So Randy, this is funny too. His dad said that Randy didn't become sexually active till he was in high school. If you ask my dad when the first time I got laid was, like, fuck do I know? You know what I mean? That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Your parents know you're...
No, not a chance.
I would fucking hope not. That's interesting. But he does remember that Randy mentioned to him once that the girls in high school were, quote, loose.
Okay, so...
Loose guy. And this is... Also, 1967, 1968, free love and all that shit.
That doesn't mean they're loose with him. That means he just,
He heard a guy got a hand job at a park one time. That's what that means.
I got several blowies long before I got any sex.
Yeah. Which
that's how it usually works, right?
Yeah, we grew up. No, well, now it is. We grew up in a great time.
Yeah.
When oral sex was pretty thrown around.
It was
thrown around pretty loosely. Whereas, like back in the day, you wouldn't do oral sex till you were married for like 5 years. Right. That would be like, things are getting a little dull in the bedroom. Hey, let's try this thing I read about in a magazine where you put your fucking mouth on my thing here and fucking.
We grew up in a time where like you make out with them and they're like, I don't want to have sex. You're like, oh, and they're like, I'll blow you. And like,
oh, all right. Well, great. Yeah. You didn't even have to say the first part. You just said, I'll blow you, and I wouldn't even have thought about it. That would have been terrific.
Yeah, I wouldn't even care.
Once
I finish, I don't know how to do this twice.
Yeah, we didn't care. We're good. Oh, man. So Jack also states that his son adamantly says his son had no problems growing up. None.
Yeah.
He was a good boy. He wasn't involved with alcohol or drugs. Yeah. He didn't do any of the things that we were supposed to do. He said he was close to his mother, treated her with respect. He was a perfect child.
Yeah.
Randy knew he had to show his parents that.
Sure.
If he shows them that, then he can do anything he wants because they're satiated. Right. It's fine. Yeah. One of his closest friends here, Mike Schaefer, a guy he'll be college roommates with later on and everything else, said he can't comprehend how Randy would ever hurt or much less kill anyone. Just not the guy that he knew ever. Sure. He said that Randy wasn't even he wouldn't even kiss and tell. No. So he was like, I didn't even, he wouldn't even brag about conquests or anything like that. Oh. They said he would date a girl exclusively for a few months at a time, and then they'd break up and he'd find another girlfriend and he'd date exclusively for a few months at a time.
Wow.
So he wasn't like a player. He wasn't trying
just being real normal.
Real kind of old school. Yeah. This Schaefer also said he had a good relationship with his parents, but whenever he did anything wrong, his mother always knew. So like in Randall's mind, she's like some omnipresent, can see through the walls type of person.
Oh, boy.
Which is very interesting.
She's Jesus.
Yeah, she knows when you fuck. She's Santa Claus is essentially what she is. She sees you when you're sleeping. She knows when you're awake.
She knows when you got that gummy shit all over your hand.
She knows when you showed your dick to a girl. She knows it all. Schaefer said he threw a party once when his folks were out of town. He was really careful, and he put throw rugs and plastic over the carpet so there wouldn't be any damage done. Jesus, talk about a murder practice. And then he rounded up a crew of girls to stay around after the party to clean up. That place was just immaculate afterward, but when his mother got home, she knew. She just seemed to know everything he was doing. Even though everything was in its place, still she knew. She knew. Now, I'm sure that the place probably reeked of beer or something. You know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah. So Randy here was in the class of 1969 at Newport High School. Oh, yeah. One of his classmates recalled, quote, he was a beautiful kid, the star football player. He was a relatively popular kid.
A beautiful kid.
If you're handsome and the star football player, I don't understand how you wouldn't be popular.
Right. How
Unless
else?
Unless you had shit in your pants all the time, I don't get how you would be popular,
Yeah.
People remember him as being quiet a lot and almost shy. But then other people said that he liked to do pranks and shit like that. Like he had a very childish sense of humor.
Yeah.
He liked to tease animals and shit like that, they said. I don't even know what teasing animals means, but I don't understand it. They don't really get that you're making fun of them, so it's a waste of time, I think, at that point. You can't, mock a Dachshund. They don't care. They just don't care. So a lot of the girls here that he dated all the prettiest, most popular girls.
Okay.
It's just how he dated, cheerleaders and things like that here. So this is crazy. Later on, when he's caught and, it comes out who he is, some of them were crying tears over his arrest. Not Randy.
He's sad about it.
He's so wonderful. Yeah, guys that they went out with in high school. One of them said she couldn't bear to watch the television news and see Randy in handcuffs. Just couldn't bear to see it. Yeah. Her husband, because she was married while this was going on, who happened to be one of Randy's friends, said that she would run from the room whenever Randy's image would come on the TV news. She'd just take off from the room. Oh, God, crying and everything else. Randy always preferred younger girls than him.
Okay.
Not like,
fine. Yeah.
Not out of range young.
Yeah.
Not 17. I'm going to go out with a fifth grader. But if he's a senior, he's going out with a sophomore.
All right.
It's a little more pliable, a little easier here.
Yeah.
As he grew older, he would continue. He kind of stays at the same age of what he likes, and he gets older, but his tastes don't.
Oh boy.
He's like Matthew McConaughey in fucking Dazed and Confused. He's like,
all right.
I get older and they stay the same age. That's what he's doing. So he likes he likes his girlfriend to be plain. Yeah. He likes a girl that wears jeans and that sort of shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't like when they dress sexy or wore quote flashy clothes, as he put it.
We used to have some shit in common.
Yeah, doesn't like any of that. You put a dress on with your cleavage showing, he thinks you're trashy and doesn't like you.
That's an insecurity, right? That's a level of like, somebody else could get her from me.
Someone else, all eyes are on her, but he likes to go out with the pretty popular girls anyway. I think that just might be something to do with his mom's perfection or something to do with that. I'm not sure. Or just whatever he thinks is sexy. I don't know. He likes skinny girls with big tits. That's his jam. Wow. What a weirdo. No one likes that.
What a unique fella. He's got a real kink.
Next thing you know, he's going to tell us he likes blowjobs. I'll be shocked. This is crazy.
Well, the good news is porn's full of all that shit.
Yeah. Bad news is in 1968.
Yeah.
Good luck finding that porn. You either had to be in Times Square or break out a whole film strip set up in your house to fucking view some of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but he was a good student. He's good in math. He was moved into advanced math classes, actually. Teachers would praise his brains and the way that he would get along with everyone. They were like, he's like a politician, basically.
Yeah.
He's like Ted Bundy, but a good athlete at this point.
Right.
Type of deal. He was once selected by the Newport Rotary Club as Boy of the Month, which sounds just terrible. A group of grown people should never have a Boy of the Month ever. That just sounds
I don't
real
like
gross.
The best boy on credits on movies.
Best boy grip too.
Yeah,
he's got the best grip. He's got the great grip. So Boy of the Month here. He belonged to the German club as well. So he wasn't like some idiot jock. Like that wasn't his bag here. But sports is where people remember him from. Sure. He made the all-state first team in football.
That's good, right? Yeah.
First team, all Oregon. Yeah, he's of the best starting lineup they could muster for the state of Oregon when he was a junior.
Wow. Still got a year to go.
That's how fucking good of an athlete he is. Yeah. He's really good. And not just in his small town, the whole state. So and also when he was a senior too. So not bad. Okay. He also received an honorable mention in the all-state basketball team as well.
Okay. So
just an athlete when he was a senior. He also played varsity baseball also. So he's playing all three sports at a high level. He was also a sprinter and was on the track team.
All right.
So, I mean, the guy is killing it here.
Playing everything.
His only thing and his only goal is to play professional football. That's what he wants. That's what he's concentrated on. He's a wide receiver, and he's about 6'2", which back then is a big fucking receiver. Back then, wide receivers were 5'10", 5'11". You know what I mean? 6'2" is a big, beefy receiver. He's a tall receiver. He's fast. He's got everything going for him here. Even, anywhere in the country, he would be a star athlete. It's not just because he's in a smaller state or that sort of thing here. Randy will tell everybody that during his senior year, he was recruited for scholarships by, quote, all the major colleges in the Northwest, which I believe. There's he was all state. First team in 2 straight years. That's where you get, that's who you offer scholarships to. So I don't doubt that at all here. He's 6'2", 170 pounds of muscle, doing great. Now during high school, though, again exposing himself keeps happening. Oh boy. Yeah. While in high school, he exposes himself to a group of teenage girls near the what is that? Yaquina? How the fuck do you say that? Yaquina.
Jacin?
Yaquina? Yaquina?
Oh, don't look at me.
I'm going with Yaquina. If it's not, fuck it. I'm sorry, Oregon. Yaquina. Yeah, it'll be something weird in Oregon. It's always the wrong thing. You're always wrong, no matter what you do in Oregon. Willamette? No, Willamette. Okay, no. Sorry.
Yakima? No, Yakima.
Oh, man. A bunch of people with those names are you Sandra? No, Sandra. Fuck you. How's that? I don't know, okay?
I don't care.
I don't know and I don't care. So he was arrested for this, though.
Yeah.
Which is not good. But his football coaches helped kind of cover it up.
Away.
They talked to the cops. He's a great kid. His boys will be boys. He's he's a first team all everything. Sure. This kid has a huge future. Let's not fuck this up for him. That sort of deal here. But his parents forced him to attend therapy after the incident, by the way. Now, but that's included in things that they say he never did when he never had any problems as a kid. If your son got arrested for exposing himself to a bunch of girls, wouldn't you include that in some weird shit that he did?
Yeah,
I would too. Yeah, I'd say that's weird. A football teammate of his at Newport High says Randy was a little strange. I don't know how to explain it. After all this came out, you look back and maybe he was stranger than we thought he was at the time. So he goes, maybe he was such a star that we didn't really take his strangeness at the level we should have. Yeah. They said that he had this is the quote from this guy, he had an obsession with his hair. It was curly and he'd go out of his way to straighten his hair. He was overboard. That was then in the 60s when everyone had straight hair. Then in the 70s, he perms it to get it curlier.
Sure.
So it's crazy. Another former teammate said, because they asked this teammate in a narcissistic way he was overboard.
Yeah.
And the teammate said, definitely. He was just real concerned about how he looked. You just had a bad feeling about the guy. You always felt there was something underneath his mask. And he is so vain. It's insane, dude. It's a level
so much so that you can feel it.
You can feel it coming off of him. I need to look perfect, especially wide receivers, the perfect position for a guy like that too. That's in football. Those are those guys.
Yep.
Everything is perfect and my towel's straight and my shit's got, and I got my wristband and my gloves are perfect and they're real into what they look like. And that's kind of how he is.
That's the guy on the field that does the most eye-catching shit too. Cause he's got to run a route that's impeccable too.
Oh,
and then catch
and then
the ball. That can be a showman thing.
Go one-on-one with somebody and it's all a big, it's huge. So he graduates from high school in 1969. His criminal record is expunged.
Nice.
That's part of it. That's nice.
Gotta get that dick thing out of the way.
That doesn't look good on the old permanent record. You know what I'm saying? He attended.
Looks like a dick on your permanent record.
Yeah, I see this looks like a dick and ball. It's a hard dick. Nice dick, Randy. I see it on your permanent record.
I can see it right here.
So he attends Treasure Valley Community College in Ontario, Oregon. Now, this is what I don't understand. He's recruited by all these major colleges.
Yeah.
I don't know if they told him because he got arrested. I don't know if that's they told him go to a community college and play football for a couple years and then go to a major college, get all that out, show that you're not a bad risk maybe. I'm not sure why he did that, but he ends up doing that. Before he goes there, the summer after he graduates high school, he worked for Pacific Northwest Bell, the telephone company, driving trucks and cleaning and repairing telephone booths when they existed. So the fall of 69, that's when he enrolled at Treasure Valley Community College, and not a big town. It's all the way across Oregon over by the Idaho border. So I can't find a reason why he would go to a community college on the other side of the state.
Yeah, don't look at me.
Makes no sense.
Unless it's like getting away from everything. That's the only reason, right?
That's it. That's all I could think of. His friend from high school, Mike Schaefer, was his roommate there. So that's all I can think is his friend was like, I'm going to this college over there. And he was like, fuck it, I'll go with you. I'll go too. So he plays 2 years at Treasure Valley Community College in Ontario. We're going to get into a little bit of sports stuff here for no stats though, about 2 seconds. From 1969 to 1971. One of his teammates is a guy named Ted Spencer, who was a cornerback and a returner, a punt and kick returner. And Spencer played 2 seasons with Randy before both of them transferred, as we'll talk about, to another school. But not together, just separately. Right. This guy said, I knew him pretty well. We lived in the same dorm. When we got to Portland, he lived off campus. I lived in the high-rise apartments on campus when they opened. He was a decent talent. He had some ability. He goes on to say, I guess you'd call him somewhat of a ladies' man. He wasn't a bad-looking guy. He was athletic, typical white guy who got a little bit of money. They get a little extra from the ladies. He got what he needed. Typical white guy who got a little bit of money. He comes from an upper-middle-class family.
Gonna get a little bit of gash.
Yep, a little bit. He said he did his thing. He didn't seem odd. He was somewhat quiet at Treasure Valley. When we got to Portland State, he still didn't make a lot of noise. The problem is he is going to get arrested several times in this period, which is not good. The first time he gets arrested here is going to be for vandalizing his ex-girlfriend's apartment.
Okay.
Now, he'll claim that that's not what happened and it's a misunderstanding. We'll find out here. Okay. At Treasure Valley, he's got about a C+ average, so he's not really
not lighting the world on fire educationally.
But from what we understand at this point, his goal is to make it to the NFL. So he really doesn't give 2 shits about grades. He's got to concentrate on football, from what I understand. He was captain of the varsity football team, and he's also on the varsity basketball team at Treasure Valley, and he's also on the weightlifting squad as well. So he's participating in all these sports. In track, he held the freshman record for the long jump, 22 feet, 6.5 inches.
That's good, right?
It's better than anybody else there ever did. So must be decent, I guess. I don't know if it's like, world class or Olympic level, but it's
21
good.
feet seems like an awful long jump.
I want to say like 28 feet is a world record or something, maybe. Something like that. I don't know where that number just came out of my ass.
How did you know that?
I don't know. I think I heard that one time somewhere along 28 feet.
You just absorbed that?
I think so. 29 feet.
29.6.
29 feet. I got it right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. 29 feet. I think it was, wow. Okay. I got to stop.
Who is that?
That's weird.
Mike Powell?
Yeah, I've heard the name, but I don't know who the fuck that is.
I think that person was. No, that's the greatest long jump final ever. Carl Lewis and Mike Powell. And Mike Powell has. Is it literally Carl Lewis?
Carl Lewis, the runner, the sprinter.
Yeah, is it Carl Lewis? No, it is Mike Powell that has it. 29. Okay. 4 1/4.
Wow. I think I heard that on a sitcom in passing like 30 years ago or something.
Do you know who has it for the women? You know her name. Shit.
I do?
Yeah. Jackie Joyner Kersey.
I was going to say that was the only one I was going to guess because it's
the only one I know.
Either that or Marion Jones because we did an episode.
Yeah, and she's great too. Yeah,
but
they would just take that away from her anyway.
Yeah, because she was on.
Because she likes to smoke weed and other things.
Well, yeah, she did steroids. She got busted for her and her fucking boyfriend or whatever, her husband.
Yeah.
She have somebody. I might be mixing people up. Oh, I'm mixing up Jeremy Stevens and what's her name? Never mind.
Oh yeah, Hope.
But Marion Jones. Yeah. No, Tim Montgomery. That's what she was involved in that one because he's a track guy. We did the Tim Montgomery episode. I think that's where
to be honest,
she comes
I
in.
don't care. Take all of them that you want. Whatever.
Well, let's see what you can do.
You do something amazing.
Let's see what you can do. I don't give a shit if your liver's going to fall out later. That's your problem. I don't
fuck it. If you'll compromise and sell that for a gold medal, do it. I don't care.
I don't fucking care. Yeah, people do.
Give a fuck?
People compromise their health. You think a fucking stock guy or like some hedge fund manager, you think it's healthy for him to sleep 2 hours a night and
do all that coke?
Do crazy work and all that coke and all that? Those guys drop dead from a heart attack when they're 42. No one goes,
gives a shit as long as your 401k's fine.
That's it. Nobody cares.
You want to fucking beat on these people? They're still human beings. It's still a human being doing something outrageous. Who cares whether or not they did drugs to do it? I don't.
I don't give a shit.
Just tell me you're doing them.
That's all. Yeah, just don't lie to me.
Don't lie to me and say you ate liver for this.
I just ate liver, man. That's all it was. No, that's our last Patreon, by the way. So Randy, one of the things that he got in trouble for, here's his friend said, quote, Randy stole some cassette tapes from some guy in the dorm.
Okay.
I knew he had those tapes, but when the guy asked about them, Randy lied and said he didn't have them. I told him it was his story to tell and I wouldn't say anything. None of my fucking business is what he said. But when it came down to his getting in trouble over taking them, he'd have to tell the truth. Later, he confessed to the dorm proctor that he had them all along and he gave them back. So, I mean, that's just kind of a shitty, bad character. That doesn't make you a murderer.
Okay.
He dated a girl at Treasure Valley Community College, and I'm not sure if this is her real name or just a pseudonym for the book, Sharon McNeil. He was very attached to her. Seemed to be, more attached to her than he was any other girl that he's ever gone out with. Really likes her. Now, his roommate, Schaefer, said Sharon did her share of catting around and they were having troubles. Anyway, they broke up. So, yeah, she's going out. She's a college girl. You know what I mean? Who knows? So, very age-appropriate, normal shit there.
And it's not gonna last.
No, that's what I mean. It's a college relationship. It's fleeting. You know what I mean? We're both in community college. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So Randy couldn't handle this, though.
No?
Couldn't handle the rejection, which, again, he needs like a friend that goes, Randy, you're a handsome fucking football star. Fuck this girl. Who cares?
Yeah.
You can find a girl anywhere, but no, I don't know if no one told him that or if he wouldn't listen or what here. So then on August 3rd, 1970, he's accused of breaking into her home and trashing her room. Entry had been made through a bathroom window. The room is trashed, but there's only one thing stolen in the whole place, and that is a stuffed animal.
What?
A small bull, a present that Randy gave to Sharon. I'm taking my tiny, because I got 3 rings on a thing at the fair.
Yeah, I don't want her to have my crane trophy.
Nope, I don't want her to have my Def Leppard mirror that I won at the fair, is what he just said.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of my friend going back for click.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
useless,
same thing.
Man. Leave it.
Holy shit. But he's arrested for this and charged with vandalizing.
And theft.
So,
of the bull.
He's actually found not guilty in a jury trial, though.
Really?
Because one thing Randy figures out, if you're going to do shit, don't leave evidence. So there is no fingerprints. He wore gloves. They have no physical evidence that he did it. All they have is the obviousness of the fact that one thing was stolen, and it's the thing he gave her, and she just broke up with him. But still, you can't convict on that. You can't convict on, well, duh, he obviously did it. That's not good enough, apparently, in court. So there's also been incidents around here in Ontario of exposing himself as well. So he moves on from Treasure Valley and transfers to Mount Hood Community College for a semester. His roommate, Mike Schaefer from high school there, went and enrolled at a different college. The woman, Sharon McNeil, who he vandalized her place, her parents did not want her to talk to Randy anymore, obviously.
Right.
And she said, yeah, totally, I won't do that here. So he leaves the area, but he bombards her with letters and phone calls.
Okay.
Just keeps them coming. And this is what he does always. If he meets a girl at a bar and talks to her for an hour and gets her number, for the next however long, he's going to be calling her at weird times, sending her weird shit in the mail. Later on, I don't know how he had time in the day for correspondence, because this fucking guy, he was like a Victorian woman. Yeah. Who would like wake up and, got to do my correspondences and send my calling cards and all that shit out. Like that was his life. He would talk to 6 different women in a night for long periods of time while writing all these other women letters and sending them all over the place.
Get some rest, man.
No, it's super weird. His dick is hard all the time.
Wow.
No rest for this guy and his hard dick. So anyway, she he keeps doing this, so she ends up getting an unlisted phone number. She said that almost 10 years after she had last seen him at community college there, she received a letter from him containing a nude photo of himself. 10 years later.
10 years. Here's my dick.
That's how fucking long. Once you were in his web, in his mind, you were part of his world.
Elephant. And he's showing his trunk.
He's showing everybody his fucking trunk. He's very proud of it.
Wow. And he doesn't forget.
No. The final message from him to this woman was a Christmas card in December of 1980. So, I mean, that's how long he's doing this for. She said she never gave him any encouragement during the decade after she got her phone number unlisted to get away from him. Between the vandalizing incident and the final Christmas card, she had never talked to him once, never gave him any encouragement. He just kept it coming. She would wonder why the fuck this guy won't just leave me alone.
Yeah.
But she was never scared of him. She was just like, it was pathetic,
Yeah. He's in love with me, and I can't believe it. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now, the roommate, Mike Schaefer, who's not his roommate anymore, but he said, after we left Treasure Valley, Randy never visited me at SOC. A long time later, I got letters from him where he sounded quite religious and was quoting the Bible. It just wasn't him, not the Randy I know.
Is that right?
And Jesus said, expose thy balls in the sun of the day.
Yeah. Part the hairs like the water.
Like the waters that Moses must have had to fucking walk through. So for the next 2 summers, he would return to the Oregon coast to work for the Georgia Pacific Plywood Company. And there, Randy would get another girlfriend during that time, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
He's like 21. His girlfriend at that time was an 8th grader.
No.
8th grade is 13 years old.
That's not a girlfriend.
That's not a girlfriend. That's a girl you're going to molest. That's what that is.
That's a victim.
Yes. I'd like to introduce you to my victim here. This is Tracy.
Just because you have conversations with her doesn't make her any less of a victim.
No, fuck no. Her name is Tracy Connors, and Tracy said he was home for the summer from Treasure Valley. I met him at the Newport High School football field where he and his friends were playing football. Imagine.
Oh, man.
You're 20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
You're in college guy. You're all this. And you see a child hanging around the football field and you're like, I'm going to go talk to her.
Like, get her number right quick.
Wow. That is so fucking weird. She said, I used to go and watch them and I got to know Randy pretty well. Who wants to talk to a child when you're that age? It was just friendly. He was sort of the big brother I never had. He was always nice to me, and we really didn't have any dates, but I spent a lot of time with him. He'd drive me home from the football field in the black Volkswagen bug he had then. Why do all these guys have Volkswagen bugs?
Yeah.
John Douglas did like a whole thing on that in Mindhunter about the bug because he's trying to figure it out too. He's like, it is the chosen car for serial killers.
I should be the worst.
Yeah, you should be
I've done a lot of these things. Had a lot of the same experiences.
I heard somebody's psychological workup, profile, and I went, oh my God, it's Jimmy Wisman. It was so weird. I'll tell you about it after the show. I don't blow up your spot on the thing.
Yeah, don't do this with these people.
No. I was like, whoa, that's Jimmy. Holy shit.
Don't let people hear how bad I really am.
No, I'll keep your secret safe with me. As all other secrets are, as you know, as we talked about before the show, too. So she said she spent a lot of time with him, drive me home in the bug. It had a sunroof, and Randy always had rakes sticking out of it. He took rakes along. It makes sense. He took rakes along to smooth out the long jump pits at the tracks he would go to.
So he just had a rake hanging out of the top of a Volkswagen.
Where the fuck else would it fit in a Volkswagen?
Yeah, it doesn't fit. That's funny, though.
That is very funny. So she basically, for her, it was like hero worship type thing. He was like this big, cool guy and an older guy and kind of big brother type, and she's only in the 8th grade and all that kind of thing. On one occasion here, Randy kind of freaked her out a little bit. She was about 14, maybe 15, and Randy was a little over 20. And his parents were out of town, and he invited her to spend the night in his house with him.
Really?
which is super normal when you're a 20-year-old. She said she drank 2 beers with him, and then she was thrilled when he kissed her a few times.
Oh, boy.
When he molested her a bit, is basically what she's saying. The encounter escalated to petting that resulted in Randy busting a nut in his pants, I think. Or maybe outside the pants. We're not sure. But
he came.
He likes to have his dick out, and he comes pretty quick, as we'll find out here. So she did not want to have intercourse, saying, I don't do things like that, she said. And at the time, she said, quote, he just said okay and went to sleep in his own bed. I slept all night in another bed, and that's all there was to it.
Wow.
They didn't try to rape her or anything like that, which is good. Yeah. And she said she would have done just about anything for him, but she just wasn't ready to have sex yet and didn't want to have sex, which good. I'm glad that she had a good enough upbringing to have the balls to tell somebody no. Just to tell somebody no, you know what I mean? If I don't want to do that, you're not doing that to me just because you want to. That's good. So she even, this is wild, Randy had her try to help him reconcile with Sharon, the one that we broke into her.
Help me get my ex back because she fucks.
She'll fuck me. Will you do that? She said, one time Randy had me call up this girl over by Treasure Valley. He couldn't do it because her parents wouldn't let her date him anymore. He said they'd accused him of breaking and entering their house. He said he'd just taken back all the things he'd given her. Except for that girl, he never seemed to have a steady girlfriend. At the end of the first summer I knew him, he went back to college and I didn't see him for a long time. He did send me a couple of letters from school, but I didn't hear from him again until after I'd graduated and was married.
Wow.
So she remembers, much later on, she remembered Randy as a happy, funny, good person. She said he stayed in shape and was real clean and fun to be with. He had a great memory and he was sincere, not a phony. If you needed help, Randy would help you. He was always macho, and his father always wanted Randy to be something big. It seems like he tried really hard to be what his parents wanted, but he had always thought his sisters were neat and could do no wrong in his folks' eyes.
Wow.
So that was what she got out of him. So she was only 15, but her eyes were wide fucking open.
Very
she was
astute.
taking everything in here. She did acknowledge that Randy was a little sneaky at times and particularly good at planning things out. He's good at kind of making a little plot and carrying it out here. She said, quote, one time he was going to make money by getting 10 cases of Coors beer in Idaho and bringing them back to sell to the kids at Newport High at a profit. He brought the beer and hid it in some behind some church in town. He sold me a case, but before he could sell the rest of it, somebody found it and stole it.
Oh.
He asked me about that as if I might know who done it, but I didn't know. He wasn't really mad, but he lost money on that deal. Right. But I mean, that's just some college kid shit to make a few extra bucks. That's sure. I wouldn't look at that and be like, oh, he's going to kill so many people. You know, he's trying to do so. That's like, I bought an ounce for whatever and I'm selling eighths for a $5 markup or some shit. Like, that's just, probably to make his own beer money. That's all.
And he only asked that person because he sold you drinks a minute ago, and you might be the only person that he thinks knows where that booze is.
Where his fucking stash is here. According to Tracy, Randy was very concerned about what other people thought of him. Okay. This is the weird part, particularly his high school friends.
Oh?
In college, he still gave a fuck about what they thought about him back home. Oh. And what they'd all be talking about him, and his high school friends be saying if he's a loser or if he's a winner, and that somehow affects his life.
Yeah,
how his high school friends think of him, which is hilarious.
Right.
I couldn't care less what the fuck my high school friends think of me. Don't care.
Do not give a fuck.
Haven't thought about them in a long time. Don't give a shit. Never did. So. She said after he went to prison that first time, he asked me if Mike Schaefer was really ashamed of him because he'd been in prison.
Oh.
So that's where he's at.
I heard he's ashamed of me.
Ashamed of him. She said she continued for years an on and off friendship with Randy. And, she said she could never visualize him doing any of the things he's accused of doing. It just sounds like a foreign, different person. So the spring of 1971... he is behind in what he feels is his schedule that he set for himself to be able to play in the NFL.
Yeah, he's behind.
He's behind. He said by now he should have been playing. He should be a starter on a Pac-8 team. You know, University of Washington, Oregon, one of these big schools, and a starter. He said, you know, this is you got to get with it. You can't be 27 and a white wide receiver and expect to get work. It's not going to, you know, you haven't done anything. So, you know, he's Treasure Valley. There's no scouts looking at community colleges really for football back then at all. Right. It's not like now where everybody had video on them and you could find somebody anywhere. A scout had to physically go drive to fucking Treasure Valley and watch you play football.
Now they just type your in on Instagram and see the reels that you've posted of your workouts.
Dude, it's crazy. Sarah's niece is in like the 8th grade and she plays softball, and they told her if you want to have any chance of getting in college, you have to have an Instagram now with videos
you better
and all
start posting. Yeah.
She's fucking 13 years old, dude. It's ridiculous. It's crazy time, man. Like you have to know exactly what you want to do from birth and be working toward that actively, not just on your own time, but like making social media videos. And
if you don't, there's enough people and more to fill those teams. It's over.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. So he basically had nightmares that he would, you know, be 30 years old and a loser and never have made it to the NFL. And, you know, it really, really bothered him. And he felt in sports was the area where he felt great because he was always just so good at it. He never really didn't have that feeling like he was less than at all here. So he was always working out. He was doing that shit. And he came home for vacations and summers, and he's still a big hero there. But he wants to be a big hero to fucking everybody, man. Yeah. That's it. So he's dumped. He always feels like apparently he had a problem. He felt like he didn't know if he fucked good enough. He didn't know if his dick was big enough.
Yeah, we're all in the dark about that.
That's what I mean. That's everybody, but most people just figure it out and move on. They don't let it take over their entire psyche. So that's kind of what he's up to. He thought, by the way, the reason why he broke into Sharon's house, he thought maybe he'd feel better after he took the presents back. Thought he would feel better for that. But it just got him in trouble, and then she really didn't like him, so he felt worse. So everything he does to try to make himself feel better is just a worse idea that makes him feel worse because he's a fucking idiot. So in the end, he finally concluded that, you know what, it was Sharon's fault. She was, that's what it was. Yeah, she ran off and told her parents, made him look like an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's what women do, he thought. They act all nice, but they're demanding more from you than you can give.
Right.
Okay, yeah. But still, man? Yeah. You can't kill them. You know what I mean? That's
you can't do anything, really.
Either start fucking guys or shut up. That's all. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
How do you feel about dicks? I don't know, man. So
you don't want a piece of that. You don't want any part of that, I promise.
Probably not. It seems like he really likes the ladies. So he kept thinking if he could just talk to her, it would be fine. But every time he tried, she'd tell him to go away and wouldn't return his letters or do anything like that here. So, then he was like, okay, there's other women. But he's had Sharon just lingering in his brain here the whole time. In the spring of 1971, he registers for classes at Portland State University. Mm-hmm. It's at least I think it's a Division I school anyway. It's not a big school. It's not Oregon, but it's a decent school here. And he wants to play football there. The coaches think great here. It's not a Pac-8 school at the time, but they have a couple of big schools on their schedule. Okay. And it's a big enough school to where scouts actually watch these games.
Oh.
So this is actually not bad. And he thinks he can do it from Portland State. So he participates in spring practice, also worked for Georgia Pacific, the plywood company, for the entire summer, and all of that kind of thing. He got food stamps from the County Public Welfare Commission in September of 71.
Oh.
Because he was, at school doing his thing here. So he didn't make a lot of money. He attended Portland State on a full-time basis from 71 to the winter semester of 73. He majored in health education and physical education and had like a C+ average, nothing special. But he's a really, really special member of the football team because he's a badass. He's really great. Really, really good here. He managed to combine spring training for football with track as well somehow. I don't know how the fuck he did that. Weird. He also took courses in handball, wrestling, weightlifting, and gymnastics as well. He became a part-time cook at the Burger Chef restaurant near Portland State.
Okay. So
he's doing that here. Thing is, though, he's always quiet before this, but he wasn't really a show-off and all that kind of thing. So here he becomes religious.
Oh.
He was redshirted his first season at Portland State, which means he's not going to play. He's just going to be on the team and do all the practices, but not be suited up for games. He's active in the student group, the Campus Crusade for Christ.
Is that a thing?
That was a thing. Let's make sure those are all spelled with C's, people.
Yeah,
okay.
All C's, yeah.
All C's. Woodfield's former teammate there said he was a part of a small Bible study group with me. I wanted to say that lasted about 1.5 years. We had a basketball team called the God Squad. He played for that.
Yeah, because the God Squad was huge at this time.
Yeah, he's like Kelvin's muscle men and gemstones. Yeah. That's the same shit. He came across being very spiritual. He was relatively faithful with his attendance, but toward the end he became very irregular. He started doing weird things. A few of us were going to go on a weekend retreat. He didn't show up. He had some excuse, and then a few days later after the retreat, I saw a friend from Newport who said he saw Randy real early in the morning on the day of the retreat in a shady area in downtown Portland.
Oh.
He said that was strange. He said he was going to be one place, but he was really somewhere else. What he said didn't jive with what the guy, what he said didn't jive with what the guy said, the other guy. So he also just might not want to hang out with you today. Leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah.
You want to go away somewhere to talk about the fucking Bible for days? Maybe not, you know? So he really gets into religion, though. I mean, one of the teammates describes him as soft-spoken, mild-mannered, and very, very religious.
Is that right?
This is why I never trust religious people, because I feel like it's masking something. Or, you know, I don't know. A lot of times. I'm sure some people are to say. Yeah. So he was a member of the Fellowship of the Portland State University Campus Crusade for Christ and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which became a very big deal later on. He was also known to only date Christian girls.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because he has a big problem with loose girls.
Yeah, loose women, and that girl was you know, catting around on him and all that shit. So he really embraced this fucking religion, though, man. Really just holding on tight to it. But he's on the football field. Everything is fine. He's actually scouts are looking at him from the pros because he's got skills and they're actually interested in him. He's also he can basically date anybody he wants. He's a handsome guy on the football team. All the girls at school like him. He still likes to expose himself to women, though. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
There was a lot of episodes of exhibitionism here. He would drive around to other places to expose himself to people.
A destination flashing.
Yeah, I'm going to go there and show my dick to somebody. Now, is he hard the whole time, or does he wait till he gets there?
Wait till he gets there and
fluff it up. I'm not sure.
Edge himself a little. I don't know.
Possibly. Yeah, he would drive over the Columbia River to be in Vancouver, Washington, and the thing is too, back then especially, because now we kind of, like I said, now we know the flashers that could lead to something much worse.
Yeah.
Back then, women just looked at it as they just be like, ugh, and then they just keep walking and forget about it.
Roll their eyes. Yeah, it's like
they might tell their friend, some guy fucking showed his dick to me today. They'd be like, ew, gross, and then they'd start talking about something else. They didn't report it to the police, really, because they weren't touched or hurt, so they didn't really report it. There was more of an inconvenience to report it. Well, I'm not going to spend 2 hours talking to some fucking cop because I saw a guy's dick for 3 seconds. Yeah. They didn't realize that it could go further than that. They were considered harmless at the time.
Sure.
So Randy, I don't know, he loved it. He loved showing his dick to everybody. Yeah, he was doing amazing. One of his teammates said that he led what the teammate called a double life, which, not really fucking...
a criminal life? And is that
no,
what
he'd have his, he'd have all his Christian stuff and Christian and only crusade for Christ and all that shit. Then his friend said, quote, he'd date showgirls. He'd go to topless clubs. When he moved into an apartment by himself, he'd have these girls over. He fooled a lot of us for a long time.
So he has this thing that he needs everybody else to be straight-laced conservative, keep your tits put away.
Yeah, religious people.
Yeah, and then he wants to be a fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
We've seen this repeatedly from politicians for years and years and years. Yeah, a hypocrite. Exactly. That's why I always say anybody who never curses is definitely a pedophile. And I'll use definitely and never, and I'll use them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust these people. I just don't trust you. Unless you show me cracks, I don't trust you, because that means you have a huge crack
is
that
bad.
you've just caulked it and slapped like some like shit over it, like wet cement over it, and like I don't want to know about it. It's in there.
It's still leaking.
It's still leaking, and it's still in there. Someone who shows me their cracks, I go, okay, at least that's a human being. I understand them. Yeah, and they're probably showing all their cracks.
Yeah, right.
They don't care. So. A former teammate said a mutual friend lived with Randy in a Park Blocks apartment for a while. Yeah. And he said, I lived in the same apartment complex, the mutual friend said. And he said that the mutual friend, quote, told me a lot of stories about Randy.
Okay.
Now, he was recruited originally by PSU head football coach Don Reed, but then Reed left for Oregon after Randy's redshirt year.
Yeah.
So the 1971 PSU football press guide listed Woodfield as a second-string flanker behind Scott Saxton as a junior on the 72 team. They also, below him, it said sprinter in track, gives solidarity in reserve role, has the potential. He caught 5 passes for 97 yards that year.
Has the potential.
Yes. Now, his first adult arrest that matters comes in Vancouver, Washington on August 7th, 1972, when he is charged with indecent exposure, and he's convicted of it.
Got him. Yeah.
Got him. He gets a suspended sentence, though, with no probation.
Okay.
Just basically don't fuck around again.
We know what you do. Don't do it.
Yep. And there's no indication that anybody at Portland State knew anything about this, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
They had no clue. And I mean, how would you? You know what I mean? Back then. So, yep, he's apprehended in the act of exposing himself to a young girl.
Oh, my God, with his pants down.
Yep, got literally caught with his dick out. So, charged with indecent exposure, and there's that. So, on campus, though, he's still Mr. Christian Clean.
Yeah.
Mr. Christian Clean, attending religious meetings and doing well in class and getting better on the field, and everything's doing fucking wonderful. He went to Lake Tahoe in 72 and 73 to participate in conferences for the Campus Crusade for Christ.
Oh.
And he works a janitor's job at the Driftwood Lodge to support himself. So he, by the way, he saves everything.
Really?
Every bit of correspondence with anybody.
Really?
When he moves, it's just like letters and cards and papers that he's moving, basically. He has like a backpack full of clothes and then a U-Haul truck full of fucking papers and shit. It's so weird. He would carry this shit around with him. Old checks he would keep, letters, cards, miscellaneous bullshit. He's just a real weird guy. He filled several notebooks with just thoughts on religion.
Oh, boy.
One contained his, quote, personal testimony as a born-again Christian.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gold after he's arrested. That's wonderful. He said that he deplored his constant seeking, basically. He said that he had 3 goals in life: to be successful in school, to get the highest honors that I could ever in my range of athletics, and to be popular with all the girls. Now, he says those things aren't things you should seek in there, but that's all he's interested in. So it's interesting. He said that he turned away from religion because he thought his life was more exciting without the rules and regulations that constrained all of his friends. Yeah, that's it. He wrote that he had come to see that his former achievements were actually only trophies or memories I could hang on the wall. Quote, I suddenly found myself going nowhere in school and just wandering around. So interesting. Now, he's kind of estranged from his father. His father was concerned about him with his Christianity.
Yeah?
This is still the time when someone went loopy, crazy Christian. You didn't go, oh, good for them. You went, he's a religious nutcase. That's what you'd say. Anybody who paid more than a passing lip service and maybe, go to church on Sunday or whatever the fuck, they're considered fucking weird. And somehow started in the late 70s and then plowed right through till now. Right. This weird church culture has grown up where
not good.
You go there every day and you give them all your fucking money and it's all you do. And it's fucking creepy. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. I don't give a fuck. If you do that, you're weird. You're fucking weird. And I don't trust you and you're probably diddling people. Sorry. That's what we think of you. That's what the normals think of you.
The bummer for me is that I see them take advantage of my mother, and I don't like that. So
no, old people, they love to take advantage. That's their bread and fucking butter is taking advantage of old people.
People that have guilt over how they've lived their lives, and I'm not afraid to die, so I got no guilt. I'm a piece of shit, and I'm probably going to hell.
I'm afraid to die, but it's not because I'm going to hell. I just don't want to not fucking do stuff. I want to watch shit on TV. You know what I mean? It's over.
I want to see if Mindhunter comes back.
That's what once the light's off, it's off. I don't believe in any of that shit. So it's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, you can believe in any of that shit you want, but when you get too into it, it becomes weird, and I think you're up to something. That's all.
Pushing it, I don't like the fucking.
Yeah.
Just
that's
yourself. Do what you do. I don't give a fuck.
No. So they would argue about this because he was like, you're all into this religion now with maniacal craziness here. So now, obviously, maybe that could have helped Randy if he could have really concentrated on religion instead of raping. Maybe that would have been good for him, but I don't think it would. I don't think it was going to work. So it didn't. None of this is helping his sexual obsessions, and I think that's part of it too. Is it's like, again, Family Guy, the old Family Guy bit with Tom Cruise running away going, you can't catch me, gay thoughts. You can't catch me. Like, I feel like that's what he's doing with religion. Like, you can't catch me, horniness. You can't catch me.
That's why he's up there on an airplane, standing on the wings, because there's no gay thoughts up there.
You can't catch me, gay thoughts. There's no other penises up here. I didn't see any. Just mine.
Riding a dirt bike off a canyon because there's no gay thoughts out there.
No gay thoughts there.
It's just desperation and sheer will to live.
No shit, man. So he's still into this. He's still trying to find women. By the way, he considers his dick super big by now.
Oh, really?
He thinks his dick is like extra great.
Big.
He thinks it's extra great. By the way, it's not, but he thinks it is.
Why do we know it's not big?
We'll find out because he shows it to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. There's like hundreds of people that can give testimony on his dick and exactly the veins that are not in it. So, a lot of the women that he would flash himself to, by the way, were like confused.
Oh?
Because normally and this is true, normally when guys are flashing you, it's usually like hideous guys or like an old man in a trench coat with his little shriveled dick hanging there or something. Let me show you my fucking stringy, sinewy ball bag or whatever the fuck. But
look at how long it is.
This guy, they look at his face and they're like, ooh, look at this handsome guy. Oh, why does he have his dick out? What's going on? So all of them are like,
asked to see it, for Christ's sake.
And that's what they think, too. All of them are like, if this guy would have just talked to me, I would have probably wanted to see his dick. You didn't have to just jump out and show it to me and make me freaked out. So that's the weird part.
Like. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna give it a little lick or two there. So I don't know why he's doing that, but he's fucking doing it. He would stand in the shadows with his fucking pants unzipped, and he'd whisper, "Look at me, look at me."
Really?
Yeah. And they would like look over because they'd hear something, and then he would have his dick out and he'd be showing it to them. It's real weird.
Just vocally hoping. That's great.
Yeah, look like kind of like psst, over here.
Yeah.
Okay, look at me. Look at me. Huh? Oh, you're handsome. Ah,
maybe it is funny.
It would be really funny if like then the woman's like boyfriend stepped up on the fucking curb and was like, "What are you doing?" and punched him in the face, like, or whatever the fuck that, or she tased him. That would be kind of funny. Yeah. Which is kind of creepy at this point, right?
The look at me part makes it funny.
It's so fun. Look at me. Look at this. Look at what I got.
That's gross.
Man. So for going into his senior season in 73, and this is all the all the marbles here because this is like his last year of eligibility pretty much, and he's got to make a showing this year of himself if he wants to be in the NFL. So the 73 press guide said that, quote, the big boss, meaning the coach, points with pride to 4 outstanding receivers, Scott Saxton, Randy Woodfield, Ken Smith, and Mike Gardner. Okay. So they're in the press guide, there's only 13 players' pictures, like their actual photos, and Randy's one of them.
Wow.
So they expect him to be a star.
Yep.
He wears number 82. They say in the little, thing under the little blurb under his picture, it says, made giant strides last season toward becoming a top-notch receiver and adequate blocker. Became much tougher. Saw some starting action. Averaged 19.4 yards on 5 receptions. Has 10 flat speed. Not bad here. Now, June 22nd, 1973, right before this season starts, before the summer practices and everything, he is caught by a police officer for exposing himself to a woman in Portland.
Oh.
Yes. He is then sentenced to 1 year of probation for that.
Okay.
Now, that winter, he was arrested for public indecency as well and sentenced to 5 years probation.
Okay.
So went from suspended sentence to 1 year probation to now 5 years probation.
So it was bad.
He just keeps doing it. It's like he just does it over and over. He keeps getting convicted for the same thing, so it's upping it. He led the team this year, and these numbers are going to sound very pedestrian, but you have to imagine what a kind of third-tier college quarterback was back then. And this is the times, too, where you were still allowed to interfere with receivers and all that kind of shit. So,
and receivers' numbers relied heavily on that. It's all him.
It's all quarterback. So he led the team with 18 catches for 216 yards.
Okay.
This is one of the worst teams in the school's history, by the way. They're terrible.
He's got 300 yards total.
216 is his fucking...
Oh, not even 3. Not 260. No. 216.
The team goes 1-10.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. They lose to Boise State 64-7.
This is before Boise State was a thing.
Before they had a blue field or any of it.
Before anybody knew anything about the guy proposing to the cheerleader. This is nothing. This is garbage.
Nevada Reno, that powerhouse football squad, beat them 59-0.
Ouch.
Jesus, and Puget Sound beat the shit out of them 54-7.
They've got a team.
Wow. Jesus. His wide receivers coach said, quote, when he was with me, he was the nicest, most gentleman, one of the nicest, most gentlemanly kids I ever knew. He was quiet, polite, hardworking, and real coachable. He sucked in everything I tried to coach him. That's a weird way to put that. I talked to a scout, and I think I helped him get looked at by Green Bay.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
The coach goes on to say the reason he only caught 18 passes as a senior is our offense. We ran the ball. We never threw it. We ran the option. I was coaching receivers that nobody would throw the ball to, he said. So it was just pointless. It's not his fault. This coach said, by the way, he lost contact with Randy once he left Portland State. So he can send letters to all these women, but not to his college coach. So his offensive coordinator during those 2 years said he was a pretty good athlete. He was very fast. He had good hands. He ran good routes. He was kind of a loner. He didn't have a lot of friends. Seemed like he was by himself a lot. He then said one summer, it might have been his junior year, he got into some trouble in a parking lot outside of Memorial Coliseum. He was exposing himself.
Oh, boy.
I can't remember if we found out then or we found out later. You tried to work with him and tried to help him. He had some really good potential as a player, but he was having trouble between his ears. I love when old men say that, between your ears. Yeah. That's your stupid brain. I like that. 2 other assistant coaches during those years said some stuff about him. One said he was a pretty good player, a pretty good track man, and a pretty good kid. In athletics, we had absolutely no problem with him. The secondary coach that was the coach of the secondary, not like a secondary level coach, said, I remember he didn't like to go over the middle. He liked the out patterns. That's how you can tell what kind of a receiver. Yeah. Well, he's a big guy. He's big for a receiver.
But I mean,
compared to defensive backs, he's a big guy.
Right. Yeah, but
that's
no fun.
That's just if you are a foofy, I want glory but none of the dirt receiver. Right. You don't go over the middle.
I don't want to get hit.
You know exactly what kind of receiver he is if he's got alligator arms over the middle and all that kind of shit. That means they're afraid to get hit. He's like, I'll just run the out patterns and outrun everybody, which is not how it works. So he said he liked the out patterns. Contact wasn't his forte. It'll mess up his hair. Of course not.
Yeah.
He said he was a good, solid receiver, though. He always led us in prayer. He had the prettiest, most innocent-looking blonde girlfriend. It caught my eye. She was really a sweet-appearing girl. The most I ever saw them doing was holding hands. I heard a rumor that during daily doubles in preseason practice, he got caught exposing himself at Dunaway Park.
Oh, boy.
And a couple of teammates here, these are brothers Anthony and Charles Stoudemire, said, quote, we dogged briefly, but I wasn't drawn really to get to know him. I've never heard that as a way of being we dogged.
I don't know what that means.
It means they were friends. Like he was my dog and I was his dog. We dogged. Have you ever heard that before?
We homied.
I never heard that in a past tense before. Nope. We dogged briefly, especially with briefly afterwards. It's very strange. We briefly dogged. After that, it all real weird shit. We dogged briefly, but I wasn't drawn to really get to know him. Then his brother, Anthony, who was a quarterback, said, strange guy, was really heavy with the fellowship of Christian athletes. He'd talk about it a lot in the locker room. He came off as real religious type person, but he was just different from the rest of his teammates. He was the one who didn't fit in. He'd say out of the blue, off-the-wall statements.
Do you think he's trying to preach to the guys to try to keep them from
knowing what he is,
fucking the girls that he wants to fuck?
Oh, no, I think he just needs to, he has to show
that he's a good guy.
When you go out, this is what you look like. You put your mask on, you put your veneer on, and you go out of the house. I mean, we all have that to a certain extent.
I suppose, yeah.
But not, to this extent, to where I'm a Christian during the day and I'm exposing myself at night.
Yeah, I did just tell you, don't tell these people how much of a piece of shit I am.
Yeah. It's true. And with this, for me, I feel like I have to talk so fucking much during this just to do all there's no way after 1,000+ episodes of all this, you don't know exactly who the fuck I am. There's no way to hide it after that long.
I think it's both. I mean, I'm just doing comedy.
You hide a lot more than me. You can show what you want to show, and you don't have to fill in the gaps. So you
can just go, I do this, and they go, oh, Jimmy's that guy.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know anything. That's
and
what
they
I'm saying.
don't know that I'm not that guy.
No. They don't know at all. Well, they know. You don't know. You that's what a guy told me. It must be that guy.
It's got to be that guy.
Yeah. I have to put out more than I want to because I have to read all this shit and fill the space.
And then I'm frustrated when people think I'm a specific guy and I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird? It's weird. When you have to fill space, it comes out.
Yeah.
If I say something and you don't reply, I have to then talk more. I can't
it's yours.
I have to keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
Think
about that.
The field, man.
Either that or there's dead air. You could just stare at me and be like, I'm not saying shit, and I have to keep talking. I don't want to keep talking. I've heard that. People are like, you just like to hear the sound of your own voice. No, I don't. I have to. There's no choice. It's either that or there's not going to be a sound of anybody's fucking voice.
That's why I'm this side of the roll, too, because I don't want to talk. I don't want to have to. That's why I'm single, because my relationships fall apart because I don't want to talk.
I don't want to talk.
I don't want any part of this.
I got tears coming out of my eyes, man.
Leave me the fuck alone. Leave if you want. I don't care.
This is so fun. Oh, shit. Okay. This guy goes on to say, we had a bunch of receivers way better than him who got injured early in the season. He ran good routes and had good speed. His hands weren't that great. He used to drop a lot of passes. Every quarterback says that, by the way.
About him? Yeah, he drops everything.
Every quarterback says their receivers drop a lot of passes.
It's never them. It's never the ball.
Never the ball you threw. None of that. They just keep dropping it. I don't know why. My spiral sucks, but that can't. Yeah. So I never would take that from a quarterback. I would
the last 2 seasons of Peyton Manning's career, it's you, Peyton, you fucking asshole.
You're throwing wounded ducks out there.
The next spiral you throw this season will be the first one, you fuck.
No shit. There's a reason why Tim Tebow's receivers weren't catching him. It's because they look like punts coming at them. Those passes don't come over end over end at you.
Yeah, he threw one good ball, and it happened to be in the playoffs, and they won a game, and then everybody thought he was great. No, he's fucking terrible.
Oh, man. Another Charles Stoudemire again said, he wasn't like a star or anything, but he was a solid player. I didn't hang out with him that much. I thought he was a decent guy in the confines of our football team. Seems like he had a bit of an ego. He thought he was better than he was, but a lot of guys think that. You have to think that.
If you don't, you're going to fail at this.
Yeah, you're on a tightrope. That's like when you're a comic. You have to walk out there, and in your brain, you're telling yourself, "I'm the funniest motherfucker that ever lived." Because if you don't, then those people aren't going to laugh at you.
They all know that you're not. Because you just told us all you're not.
So you have to have a bit of delusion in your own brain, at least to be able to do your best.
Some of them more than others.
Oh yeah, some more than others. Oh, fuck yeah. But I mean, like, it's the fighter pilot thing. Like, when they do psychological testing, they take all the guys that are narcissistic personalities and send them to flight school.
Get in there.
You're crazy enough to think no one can ever shoot you down, stupid, so do that. So there's uses. This guy went on to say he was always grooming himself. That even carried over to the way he played. See what I mean? You can tell a receiver's personality by the way they fucking play.
Sure.
Seemed like he was more interested in looking cute out there than getting the job done.
Uh-oh.
Exactly what we said here. The linebacker coach said he was quiet and abstract. That's a very strange, quiet and abstract.
How do you beat that?
He made my girlfriend nervous. Ooh. 44 years later, she's my wife. She had an eerie feeling about the guy. He made her uneasy.
Huh.
Interesting. Very interesting. He went on to say, back then, Scott Saxton was your typical wide receiver type, pretty friendly with the ladies. Woodfield was the opposite. He hung out with the offensive linemen at team meals or bussing somewhere. But after football socially, he didn't hang out with anybody. He was an athletic kid, but his football skills weren't the best. That's why everybody was so shocked when the Packers took him, as we'll talk about here. A guy who was a quarterback there also, he lived with a player who was Woodfield's classmate at Newport High.
Okay.
So he was a roommate with one of his high school friends. And he said, because of that, Randy was around our apartment. He said, I got to know him in depth a little more. He was friendly, actually, and he was a friend. Sort of a suave, sophisticated fella, confident in himself, but not to the point of being cocky. After we left Portland State, we maintained distant contact, but not anything close. A Christmas card or whatever the fuck. Now, Saxton, that other wide receiver, said that he would room with Woodfield on some road trips. And he said he was a soft-spoken guy, pretty laid back, not an aggressive personality. I remember him oftentimes laying on the bed reading the Bible. He would often quote scripture, but was never somebody who pushed Christianity on you.
Whoa.
He never engaged himself with any of the activities of the team, going out, drinking, raising hell, carousing. Wasn't judgmental at all, just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So this is all the shit he would love to do.
Right.
And he will, but he'll do it on his own. He can't let anybody else see him doing that. Because that's not the perfect image.
Yeah, right.
That's not the perfect image that of a Christian and all that. Rather than just being a normal kid and being like, I'm not a Christian. I'm also not a piece of shit. I'm a normal 22-year-old guy with hormones. I like to go out drinking with my friends and see a pair of big tits and try to get my hands on them later on in the night.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't begrudge him that. I'd be like, oh, you're a normal guy.
Who doesn't love that?
That's just normal, man. But not hanging out with the team, doing all this shit. It's really strange. Saxton, the other fellow wide receiver, said he ran really good pass routes, but just had fair hands and did not like contact. He did not like to get hit. Why would they draft this guy? He could run, but playing in a muddy football game, he would not even have his jersey dirty. See what I'm saying? Called his shit just based on that. You could tell. Doesn't want. He's the guy that's like, I'll get muddy if I go over there, and then my jersey, I won't look as good. Yeah. That's exactly what it was, man. He said he avoided contact. He would not go for a ball if he thought he was going to get hit. In a way, he was a little bit of a joke among us. Maybe the coaches thought he was all that, but the rest of us were like, he got drafted? Are you kidding me? Because in the NFL, if you're playing back in the day, the fucking...
then? Forget
Christ
it.
almighty, the NFC fucking Central back then with you get the shit beaten out of you.
Absolutely.
Cold weather, too. Snow games in the mud outdoors. It was a mess. So I think even the Vikings still played outside then in the snow.
And you got to catch a ball and then try to not get hit. And that ball's coming at 100 miles an hour. That hurts bad in the
That shit
cold.
is moving when it's frozen. Yeah, absolutely. There were also reports of peeping and petty thefts on campus. So everyone's kind of seeing little cracks in the armor here.
Yeah.
He's arrested on February 22nd, 1974. That's the public indecency that he received 5 years probation for. And counseling was a mandatory part of the probation, but he never did it, and no one forced him to.
Okay.
So they said, you have to go to counseling, and he just said, no. And they were like, okay, that's fine. So they didn't indicate, records didn't indicate that he ever actually touched or hurt any of these women. Just showed them their dick. Didn't grab them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely too much. But we're just saying there's a difference. You fucking cross a big, giant fucking, monstrous, mile-wide valley when you start touching people.
Yeah, but all that is, in retrospect, is just getting up the nerve to do it because what you're doing is just as bad.
And eventually, just showing yourself isn't going to be the same for your brain, and you're like, maybe I can get her to touch it, and then it's a different thing at that point. So,
now I can. It's the same as jerking off. If he could come and satisfy himself just by jerking off, he'd do that. But it doesn't work anymore.
He needs this to have thoughts of or some shit. And the judges they'd give him a probation because he seemed like a good risk. He's a clean cut, good looking guy from a good family, nice background,
beach community.
Athlete, good student. I mean, Christian fellowship guy, all this different shit. So they're like, Christ, what else you got? He was working to support himself at the Tektronix company in Beaverton, Oregon. And, so he was doing that. He had a job. So the judges all kind of gave him a break. And there's prison overcrowding and all that. We're going to put some star college athlete who gets good grades in prison. What's the point? He was arrested, getting sentenced for this probation and doing all that kind of thing. He would report to his probation officer, though, always. Okay. Now, 1975, he's again arrested for public indecency.
Uh-oh.
And he chose to drop out of college shy of graduating with his degree in physical education. Okay. So he goes to Portland State, 71, 72, 73. And here. Now, January 29th and 30th of 1974 is the 1974 NFL Draft, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Jimmy, number one pick in the 1974 NFL Draft is?
Otto Graham.
That's right, 1944. Too Tall Jones, baby.
Is that right?
It is Ed Too Tall Jones. I was going to say, you know who the guy is. You've heard of him, but I don't know if you pick him. Too Tall, Bo Matthews, John Hicks, Wayman Bryant, John Dutton, Ed O'Neill. Look at that.
Hey.
Al Bundy himself.
Yeah. Then he went on to start. What was that one? What is it called? The one with the kid?
Married with Children.
No, the other one with the kid.
Modern Family.
The movie.
Oh, Dutch.
Dutch.
Yeah, we talked about Dutch. With the Kid, the movie. And Dutch, we know it. We have such a weird shorthand.
Ed O'Neill in the movie with the kid.
We both have the same references to everything that we know, so we're always going to come up with that.
Yeah, fireworks.
I'm looking at this.
Fire. Yeah.
I love that so much. The fireworks scene. I'm looking at this first round, and there's a lot of guys who played, a good amount of years here in the league, but nobody. I'm looking for like household
Big
names
stars,
that people would know. Only one I can really find in the first round is Lynn Swann, who's
really he was
number 21 overall by Pittsburgh.
One of the most handsome sports broadcasters in history.
Yes, and a wide receiver, by the way, who's like a handsome, pretty guy.
Yeah,
who will take a hit.
The hit, yeah.
He'll also get the shit knocked out of him, get hurt all the time, but he would take the fucking hit though.
Did the Steelers draft him?
Yeah, Steelers drafted him. They had a very good draft this year because they got him in the first round here, and they get somebody else or no? He was their first round pick. This is the one where like consecutive rounds they get great people. In the second round, Hall of Famer Dave Casper to Oakland, by the way, the tight end. Yeah. You met him?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sure did, yeah.
Did he have his faculties about him?
White boy is he.
Oh yeah, big mustache on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, big old mustache. Yeah, Casper.
Then he doesn't look like a football player. He looks like just a normal ass dad.
They called him the friendly ghost.
Yeah, and then Hendrickson, the lineman, looks like an animal.
He looks like he's He looks like he's leading a pack of Mongols into a fucking territory to overtake it.
They played on the same team. They have Dave Casper and him.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I mean.
Absolutely. They were on the same team throughout the whole 70s. Yeah. Pittsburgh in the second round, by the way, picks up another Hall of Famer.
Stop it.
First two rounds, Hall of Fame. Yeah. Jack Lambert.
They got amazing then. Wow.
Middle linebacker in the second round. Not too fucking shabby. Who'd they pick up in the third round here? Anybody decent? No,
this guy was wow. Randy was drafted the same year that Jack Lambert was drafted. Wow.
Lynn Swann, Jack Lambert. I'm looking now. I'm just interested in Pittsburgh's draft this year because they seem to really do a great job. They don't think they had a third round pick here.
No.
Fourth round, though, they pick another Hall of Famer.
Wow. What?
Pittsburgh, they picked John Stallworth, the other wide receiver. So they got their future Super Bowl, dynasty wide receivers in the same year. Swann, Stallworth. Plug them in, get Jack Lambert at middle there, and there we go. Now we got a team.
Unbelievable.
That's pretty impressive, man. And then we'll skip a few rounds down all the way up to picks. This is round 17.
Yeah.
Which you don't hear a lot about. 17, the 428th pick overall.
Yeah.
Green Bay selects Randy Woodfield from Portland State.
My God, that's a long day.
That is a long
Eat your heart out, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, fuck you, Shedeur Sanders. Try waiting until around 17.
17.
Jesus Christ, that's...
Holy shit.
Only 3 players from the 17th round, 4 players ever play a snap in the NFL from the 17th round. Yeah, it's not an area you're looking to get a lot of gold here, you know what I mean? By the way, February 5th, 1974, the WFL.
What?
The WFL.
Western Football League?
No, the World Football League, I believe that was at the time.
I'm just glad it wasn't the Women's Football League.
No. The WFL I'm obsessed with, by the way.
Really?
I love defunct leagues. You guys know that. We've talked about it. I love the USFL and things like that, basketball leagues, ABA. But the WFL is one of the most interesting things in the world. Came about in the mid-'70s to try to compete with the NFL, and they were like signing away guys offering... Yeah. They were offering everybody's like starting quarterback, big giant contracts and all this crazy shit. Like they really came on strong. They stole 3 people from the Miami Dolphins, like their championship teams and all that kind of shit. Very interesting. And the league fell apart spectacularly. It's a wonderful, wonderful tale of failure. I love it so much. So much. They have the Houston Texans, the Shreveport Steamer, the New York Stars, who then became the Charlotte Hornets later on.
Okay, yeah.
After they were the Charlotte Stars for a minute. You might have seen me wearing some of these shirts because I have a bunch of these teams' shirts. Yeah. The Jacksonville Sharks, the Memphis Southmen, the Birmingham Americans, the Portland Storm, the Southern California Sun, the Philadelphia Bell, the Hawaiians. I think you know where they're from. The Chicago Fire, which is funny. Yeah. The Florida Blazers.
Did they do it? God damn.
Yeah, they did. The Detroit Wheels, which is a cool shirt. I have that shirt too.
Tornadoes.
The Memphis Southmen. That's where like Larry Zonka and those guys went.
Okay.
Now in this league here, I'm looking at their draft. They also drafted Lynn Swann.
Yeah.
in their league, but in the second round, they drafted all the same players, just no, they're not signing with them at all here. Now, in the, what is this? The 432nd pick in the 36th round of the draft, the Houston Texans / Shreveport Steamer, not Steamers, Steamer.
Just one,
Just one big shit left in Shreveport. With the dead last pick in the draft, they select Randy Woodfield from Portland State. Mr. Irrelevant himself here.
The guy got drafted twice.
Very deep down into the fucking bowels. Yes, exactly. So he signs a contract here for $16,000 for the season, which wasn't terrible back then. I mean, it's late round rookie money, but room and board and all that kind of shit. So, whatever. He's got bonuses too.
Oh.
If he makes the roster, he gets $2,500 extra. If he should catch 25 passes during the regular season, he gets $2,000 extra.
Okay.
If he catches 30 passes, he gets $3,000 extra.
Okay.
Not too shabby. Doing pretty well. So he's got a contract with the Green Bay fucking Packers signed. A signed deal with, and this is in 1974. The Packers were the dynasty of the 60s. I mean, they were the most famous team in America at this point. They were the big team. I'm going to say it, Grace. This is Grace right here. Doesn't get any better than that. All of you could, if you never took your dick out again to anyone who didn't want it, that no one would ever heard about that shit. You could be an NFL star and be going forever. So let's leave it there for this week. With him being drafted by the Packers and doing, I think it's a good stuff. We got him from birth to the NFL.
Yeah,
that's a good start for this thing here. So let's do that, and let's start there, and let's say thank you for listening to this crazy fucking episode. You are the best, and again, we'll figure out something for the ad free. We really will,
so hard.
and we took less to make it better for you. We really did. To take less to try to be like, let's be good guys and not be sellouts. Yeah. And then if people are like, you're a fucking sellout, it's like, what are you talking about? If I'm, let's fuck it. I might as well be rich. Fuck this shit. So thank you. And we will do that. We will absolutely figure something out to do that with. So thanks for hanging in with us. If you like the show, please tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. It really, really helps to drive the show up the charts. So thank you for doing that to everyone who has, and please do it if you haven't. Definitely follow us on social media at Crime and Sports. You certainly, definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get all of your merchandise. We have everything from skateboards to shower mats. Get everything you can need. Yeah. Great stuff. Real high quality shit, too. Nice stuff. Good T-shirts. Tons of designs. Everything for Small Town Murder, Crime and Sports, and Your Stupid Opinions is all there. Yeah. So you can do that. Get your tickets for live shows for Small Town Murder. If you'd like to come to a live show, the ones that are not sold out right now for the fall are Irvine, California. Few left there. Not many, though. If you want those, get them right this minute. We got there. We got Seattle has a few tickets left. Portland is sold out the night before. And then Philly and D.C. have a few left in December. Yeah. So we're selling tickets near Christmas at this point. Get in there and get them right now. Yeah. Thank you so much to everyone who's done that. That's shutupandgivememurder.com. You should also definitely get yourself some Patreon.
Please do.
Treat yourself to some Patreon. I'm telling you, you deserve it at patreon.com/crimeinsports, just like the name of the show. Anybody there who gives $5 a month or above, you're going to get shitloads of bonus material. Let's just say that. Yeah. You're going to get hundreds and hundreds of back episodes immediately upon subscription. You can binge all of those. And then there's new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder. And it's all weird, fun, cool shit. This week for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about a guy named Jeff Alm, who was an NFL player who had just a spectacularly catastrophic ending that we'll talk about. It's
Can't wait.
Just a weird story, and then it gets real weird at the end there, and tragic and wild, and so we're gonna do that. Not bad. That'll be a fucking fun one. I'm very excited for the Jeff Alm. It's one I've had kind of sitting on the shelf for a long time. Then for Small Town Murder, we're gonna talk about people who marry prisoners.
Okay.
Like people who've married serial killers.
Yeah.
and people who continue to go after prisoners and want to marry.
Yeah.
I mean, we do the prisoner dating game as a bonus episode, and we'll do that in a few weeks. But I mean, we know that this
really drives sex. It's so hot
it does.
when your other is known for anything.
Any kind of fame or infamy.
Yeah.
Any infamy, you're in. So
you tell your friend, I'm fucking this person. Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy shit. So for sure, get yourself some damn Patreon.
Yeah.
You'll definitely want that. And that is patreon.com/crime and sports.
Yeah.
And you get a shout out, which is right now. Jimmy, hit me with the names of the people who we would never turn around a dark corner and hear a whisper saying, look at this. Well, they show us their erect penis. Jimmy, hit me with these wonderful names right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Stringer Bell. Probably
Hey,
not.
Stringer.
Peter Musicik. Wow. Gary Howard.
Nice.
Kyle Norweg. Emily West. Brother Patrick is fighting his ass off. Thank you, Patrick, for not thank you. Just keep going. Jesus Christ.
Keep hanging in there.
The poor man he's in a fight for his life. Keep it up, Patrick. Jamie Kadrovich. I think it's Kadrovich. I don't remember. Happy birthday, Jamie.
Well,
You're the
happy
best.
birthday,
God damn
whatever
it.
your fucking name is.
Yeah. Other producers this week, Peyton Meadows, Bill McClellan. Happy birthday, Scarlett Horbeast, the third, James. I forget their name, but this is how they would like to be honored. So there it is. The Pepperoni Animal, Janice Hill, David with no last name, Elliot Hansen, Len Willits, Kelsey Brooks, Peter Carlson, Jay Ralston, Tyler Veal, Tara McAfee, Max Hewitt, Austin Miller, Christina Kerrigan, Rebecca Lufenberger, Maeve, how do you say that? Maeve? Is that Maeve? Did we settle on that yet as Americans? Because that's not American name.
Maeve. Let's go Maeve.
All right.
It's like mauve, but with different.
It might be mauve. I don't know, but it's McGinnis. I know that part. Nicholas Soulpatch, Soulpoff.
Whoa.
Devin Willis, Don Barella. C and the other letter C. Matthew Rechtenwald. Libby Perry, Charlie Trigg, A. Sellner.
Barely knew her.
Barely know her. Sue, boy, are these fucking bad this week. Buy me she. Don't know.
Bad to say, not bad to go donate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's impossible. Carrie Kirkland. That's it. Jacob Witek. Wytek, D.A. The D.A. donated.
Oh.
Megan Des Roches. Megan, you're the best. Joanna
Thank you.
Wilson. Jason with no last name. Michelle Ricard. Tiffany Marchbanks. Yep. Johnny with no last name. Rachel Cohen. Mike Pugh. Puff. Jordan Fumero. Jeremy with a G, Bowman. That's terrible. Angelina Colley.
Germany.
Tori with no last name. Anna Berntson. Brendan Lord. Nico Williamson. David Center. Heather Hubbard. Nick McCormick. A.W. Book Girl. Janet Salinas. Dawn with no last name. Cade Kalesa. Hunter Frampton. Peter's Kid. Rose Fire. That's a good name.
Peter's
Jesus.
Kid. Nice. That sounds great.
Kelly Starcher. What is this?
Starcher.
Michael Ann Finkel? Fink. Michelle Ann? That's Michael Ann. What? How's that?
Maybe it's a couple.
That we shouldn't be allowed
Michael
to do
and
that. Michael and Ann? It better be that. It can't be Michael Ann. You're not allowed to be Michael Ann. John Taylor, great catch. Sarah Delaney, Whitney with no last name.
Super Bowl, fucking 88 Super Bowl, baby. Good catch.
Terry, I'm sure nobody's ever told you that, John. Terry Zwesper. Arwin, Storm, Scott Paquette, Tim Drofton, is that right? Nikki Klinger, Ariel Howler, Ralph Carta Blanche, Denise Gibson, Onyx Lovely, Rachel Dennison, Adam Torresi, T&J, TJ. This show brought to you by TJ. Shelley Ramsey, Don Pushy, Jasmine with no last name, Pushy. You hear that? Push. Jesus, Dawn. Josh Johnson, Samantha Lister, Laura Sarr, Hollycock, what? Tony Curry. That's two names.
Took me a second to process that one.
Zach Nussbaum. Michelle with no last name. Brandy with no last name. Kind Topic. Maureen with no last name. Chris with no last name. Mixons. Scott Phillips. Courtney Moore. Joseph Coleman Bonner. Grant Ziegler probably. Ava with no last name. Name's not Andy. So it's definitely not Andy, James. It's a different name. Not
Andy did not give a shit. No,
Amanda
Andy.
Weinbrenner, Samantha Jenkins, Travis Granberg, Kendra Wright, Haley with no last name, Anais Rom, I hope, Michelle Sifree, Siffer, Chiamata Bread. That's a thing, right? Melissa Grasso, Christine Higgins, Kelsey Lamartina. I don't know. Donovan Finley, Austin Stewart, AJ Cross, Quincy Young, Kylo, IK, Derek with no last name, Morgan Lowe, Hadley Oberg, PB, Nina with no last name, Andrea Galindo, Ashley Durbin, Josh Lewis, Melissa Dunmeyer, Amy Pierce, I'm a Suck Your Dick, I'll bet you won't, Lindsay Wiles, David Ellis, Lily Jean Gurney, Cordale Clausen, Sam Lee, Freddie Santiago, Jessica Baker, Elizabeth with no last name, Sarah Lulo, Skip Newman, Caitlin Piffer, Stephen Wick, HCC, Sabrina Connor, Allie with no last name, or maybe Ali, Krista Kemp.
The great one?
Sean Kemp's daughter here. Yeah, the great one. Yeah. Hope he pays for anything
coming
for
out
you.
Of the woodwork there, yeah.
Sweaty Turtle, fucking Bajunk, B-A Junk, and all of our patrons. You guys are the best. We can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. You beautiful, fantastic, wonderful bastards. We appreciate all that you do for us. And to show our appreciation, we will talk about horrible serial murder for the next few weeks here. So that'll be a lot of fun. If you want to follow us on social media, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. There's a drop-down menu. Take you anywhere you need to go around there. And keep doing that. Keep coming back. And we'll see you next week for Randall Part 2, live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.